everyone. Welcome to Race Day Live on SupercrossLive.com. We're here for round 8 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. We're here inside the Georgia Dome. I'm your host, Andy Boyer. Beside me, as always, is Supercross legend Jim Hollywood Holly and lead writer for the SEC and the Bleacher Report, Barrett Silly. Welcome to Race Day Live, Barrett.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me crash your set again.
Yeah, man. Well, here we are, boys. Round 8. The East Coast starts tonight. We got red Georgia clay. It's a challenging track. We're going to have a huge show for you folks.
Yeah, something interesting too that the folks that are listening, they get a chance to watch that free, the A practice, the free practice for them right now. We're a little behind schedule due to the track that, it's going to be soft out there. There's going to be ruts. So the Feld track crew is out there preparing the track in between some of those practices.
Yeah, I mean, it's already getting rutted up. The sand section's pretty gnarly, and we've already seen in the 250A practice, there's going to be lots of crashes in that sand tonight. There's a lot of different ways to get through it. It changes every lap.
Right, the dirt's soft, like we talked about. You know, it got rained on a little bit when it was stored under the bridge, but they're doing their best. They're going to have a lot of track work today. And in tonight's show, there's going to be ruts. It's going to be technical. There's going to be a lot of mistakes. Like Barrett just said, we've seen a lot of crashes. But, we're going to hopefully these guys keep safe. But look at the 250 East. We have Arnaud Tonis, Tyler Bowers. We have outdoor national champion Jeremy Martin, Aaron Plessinger, Justin Hill, Shane McElrath. It's just going to be awesome. It's almost like starting a series all over again. I just can't wait to see these guys go tonight.
Well, one of the guys you mentioned, Jeremy Martin, he is a two-time outdoor champion, but he did win here last year at the second time we were here. So, and Marvin Muskin won the other time, but Marvin's moved up to that 450. And Marvin put in a great ride last week, and he went down at the start, worked up and finished up into that 6. Look for Marvin Muskin to be on the podium tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the 250 East. I mean, Jeremy Martin, obviously last year, that race here last year and the race that he won, that was one of the best 250 races we saw all year in either division. And then, RJ Hampshire, I thought he looked good. Justin Hill seems like he's 80. It seems like he's been riding 250s forever. Right. And then, Davalos, I mean, it's going to be fun. I'm excited to see these 250s.
Malcolm Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the 450 class, Ken Roczen's been on a roll. He's won the last 2 out of 3. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights from last weekend.
Let's take a look at the highlights from the 450 main event from Arlington, Texas, in AT&T Stadium as a gate dropped. It was Ken Roczen who jumped out to the lead on his Suzuki.
Ryan Dungey, your points leader and reigning champion. We'd be followed right behind him in second, but watch the right-hand side of your screen. The 25 of Marvin Musquin gets into Eli Tomac and goes down. Musquin would be last on the first lap.
This was the battle of the night, and it took place for the lead, and it went back and forth for the entire race as Dungey would get around Roczen. And normally, this season, that means Dungey's gone and the victory is his, but Jeff, not tonight.
Roczen would not be done. He gets to the inside of Dungey. Dungey pulls up a little bit, and they would pace each other for the rest of the race. Canard here gets into the side of Freezy and goes down.
And Roczen would have a smooth run, although the gap would close and Dungey would make another run at him. Roczen would make his way through into the checkers, and Freezy, who looked like he was going to have a solid run, he crashes as well into Bogle, who's not too happy about it. Checkers would fall. Roczen gets career victory number 6, his second of the year, and he picks up 3 points on Dungey in the championship fight as he beats Dungey man-to-man in the heat race and in the main in AT&T Stadium in Texas.
And what a race. That was one of the best races of the season right there. I think, you can't really look past Marvin Musquin going down in the first turn and coming all the way up to 6th. Equally impressive was the battle between Roczen and Dungey. Usually when Dungey passes and gets into the lead, it's over. But Roczen fought back.
Well, Roczen needed to. I mean, at that point there, when they started Arlington, he was already a full race down. Now he's only 23. He's got to keep doing that. He's got to hope that either Tomac or Dungey's teammate gets in the middle to take some of those 5-point chunks out of it. 3 is going to take him a while to get that, but I mean, he's on fire, and he hasn't won here. Dungey's won here before, Reed's won here, Millsaps, a lot of guys have won here in Atlanta. Kenny Roczen hasn't. We'll see if he can do it tonight.
And this is kind of the season we all sort of expected, because Roczen obviously has the speed. Everyone knows that, but his starts have been pretty bad up until two, three races ago when he won in Glendale. Now, if he can keep that up, maybe he can mount a little charge. Maybe he can just keep chipping away, and if something happens to Dungey, this championship gets a little more interesting down the stretch. And, you know, maybe somebody else joins him. I mean, I know you like Jason Anderson. He's always got the speed. Eli Tomac's been sort of, you know, hit or miss, and we saw Marvin Musquin. On this kind of track, this is maybe the time for him to finally jump up and get that win.
Well, and I think this type of track here a lot different than last week. Last week, you know, I talked to Eli Tomac. He goes, "Man, this is like an arena cross track. It's so tight, it's hard. You know, you're seeing guys go underneath, guys make passes. But here, only 6 lanes. It's kind of opened up, which I like that. I think we're going to have a great night tonight."
I agree. The track, you know, the last 2 tracks, San Diego 2 and last weekend, much more tighter. They had the under and over bridge. This one, the 6 lanes, like you mentioned, Jim, it's more high speed. It's going to create different kind of racing. We do have a lot of 180-degree bull corners where we're going to see a lot of block passes. And, you know, when we talk about block passes, we got to talk about Tyler Bowers. How tough. We have to. How tough he's going to be in the 250 East. And, you know.
The key is for Tyler Bowers is we haven't seen him race in a long time. You got to remember on that West Coast, you know, he was phenomenal at the start, him and Webb going back and forth. And then, you know, you got that illness that he had and he didn't ride. We haven't seen him ride in a long time. So I don't know if he's going to be quite that aggressive the first round out. I think he wants to, you know, get a good foundation and build from that as the championship fight progresses.
Yeah, and the rest of the guys, I mean, Aaron Plessinger out here in the first practice looked fantastic, and we all know Jeremy Martin. Jeremy Martin, I think, you know, in outdoors he's fine. Supercross still sort of waiting to find his groove. It's really, I mean, I think everyone's looking at him to take this championship. He should be the favorite, but again, he hasn't had that kind of Supercross success like Marvin Musquin had coming into last year. Everyone sort of expected him, even though he had some time off the bike. You know, this guy knows, he understands it. Jeremy Martin really not there yet, so I think because of that, it could be a wild season in 250s.
Right, and it's already been a wild season in the 450s, and a guy that got hurt at the opening round, James Bubba Stewart, he's back. He's going to be racing here tonight in the Georgia Dome. That just brings a level of excitement that only James Stewart can bring.
Well, and I think that he took enough time off. The last time we saw him was in Oakland. You know, Oakland, you know, his qualifying times were good. His heat race, he got a good start, but then he got past. He still made it in the main event, but, you know, I mean, I don't even think he got to 10 laps in that main event. Everything was just so cloudy and unfocused that he had to just pull it in. So he rested a few more weeks. We'll see how he does here in Atlanta.
Well, Jim was down there on the track to talk to him this morning. We're going to hear from James Stewart. Let's hear what he had to say.
I'm here with James Stewart. James, Atlanta, round 8. I want to welcome you back, man. How you feeling?
I feel good. Just happy, honestly, to be back racing. I took a couple weeks off the bike and just kind of let my head settle down. And yeah, that part feels good. It's going to be a little bit. I just got to get in a race shape. Just start counting down the laps, see how far we can go. But got to start somewhere, so why not start in the Georgia Dome? I love this place.
Had a couple wins here.
Yeah, no, I had a few wins here. I did the sprinkler here, 2004.
I remember that. You gonna bust something out, like bust a move or anything, or what? Do the nay or something tonight if you win?
I don't know that one kid.
Yeah, last week. Did you see that?
He's doing pretty good. I think he had me on that one, but I mean, yeah, trust me. If I win, I think you'll get a lot more than the sprinkler. But got to win, so we'll see what happens. So.
All right, one last question. I always ask when I see Malcolm how you're doing or whatever. I'm going to ask you, how's Malcolm doing? Is he ready to go? He's starting his season here, his first round on that 250.
Yeah, no, he is ready to go. You know, I think he's in a different position this year where, you know, he's coming in expecting to win the title. So I think it's, you know, kind of interested to see how he works. I mean, as far as laps and being prepared, he's ready to go. So, yeah. Now we found out here in a few hours how ready he is.
All right, you heard it from both Stewart brothers. They're both ready to go here in Atlanta.
And it's good to have James back. You know, he just, like I said, he just brings a level of excitement that only he can bring. You know, he's the most electrifying racer I've ever seen ride Supercross. How much is he going to charge tonight? Is he going to ease into this thing, Jim, or is he just going to flat pull the trigger like he always does?
Yeah, I think that he's going to ease into this because I think if you go back to Oakland like we were talking about, I think he pulled the trigger there and he just, it was a little bit too much, you know, and you got to face it, the championship's out of his reach. He's not going to get it. So, you know, just build back slowly, you know, and
right.
I think as, you know, we get into Toronto and Detroit, Indy, St. Louis, we're going to see the old James Stewart. I don't know if we're going to see the old James Stewart tonight. I think we're going to see a great James Stewart, don't get me wrong, but I think he's just going to have to take baby steps and see how things progress.
Yeah, I mean, he probably felt the pressure to come back too soon because, I mean, it is such a competitive championship. He wanted to have a piece of that, but once he got out there, realized this is not for me, and because of that, actually did hit the reset button, which is something that you probably should do with a concussion no matter what. But I think because of that, he'll probably be a little more timid out here, not necessarily hit it too hard if he's in traffic, not take the chances that James Stewart typically does and has taken in the past. And because of that, you'll see him kind of have moments, have battles where it looks like the James of old, but it won't be for a full 20 laps. But that doesn't necessarily mean he won't finish in the top 5 or maybe on the podium, but it's certainly not the hard charger that we've seen in the past.
Well, and here's the thing, Barrett, like you brought up a very good point. You don't want to charge too hard, because if he hits his head again, that's going to be it for Supercross for the season. That's it. Yep. So you definitely don't want to hit your head. I mean, and like I said, I think he's just going to build into it, Andy. I think it's just going to be one step at a time for James Stewart.
Right. Well, we were down there on the track. We've already talked about how tough this track is, but Jim Hawley and myself went down there and took a more in-depth look at it. Let's go take a look at the track package.
Round 8 in the Georgia Dome. After 2 weeks of tight tracks, things really opened up, Jim.
Well, it is, and it's a nice surprise for the guys when they get out here and they walk the track. They're going to see exactly, how long the lanes we have. We only got 6 lanes in here. You count the starting line as a lane because you're going to run down. This is a long starting line getting into that first turn.
Right, we have some big rhythm sections, but one of the biggest obstacles the racers are going to face all night is the dirt. This dirt was stored under a bridge. We always keep it protected as much as possible, but it rained all week long, so a lot of this dirt is extremely wet. So what Feld and the Feld track crew have done is put drying agent into the dirt. Tell them what that's going to do, Jim.
Yeah, and when you put a drying agent in, it's going to suck that moisture out of the dirt, so we're going to have a better racetrack. If you didn't have that drying agent in there, we'd have a really ruddy track here, and you know what that means. It's just one run works and that's it. The other ones aren't going to work as well, but with that drying agent, it's allowing the guys to have a better perspective of going into the turns and more racing. I mean, it's just going to be better for the fans.
Right. As big an effort as they're going to make to dry this dirt out, it's still going to be soft, it's still going to be ruddy. That's going to play into the favor of some guys like Marvin Muskin, who are more technical, better on the softer dirt, and maybe another guy that's coming back this weekend, James Stewart.
Well, you got to remember, you talk about James Stewart. It's been a while since you've seen him. He's won here before in the past. He likes this dirt. And you talk about a guy like Marvin Muskin. He won here last year on the East Coast. This is actually round 1 for the East Coast here in Atlanta. So, and he's moved on to that 450. But another guy that won here last year, because it was back-to-back Atlantas, Jeremy Martin. So Jeremy Martin's got to win in here. He'll be strong, but it's going to be great. I can't wait for that East Coast to start on the 250 side of things.
It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a sold-out crowd here in the Georgia Dome. The whoops are going to be technical. The rhythm lanes are going to be technical. It's going to be one heck of a night of racing tonight, folks.
So it's going to be a tough one, guys. It's going to be soft. There's going to be ruts that grab the foot pegs and pull the tires out of the corners. They've already worked on the track a lot. But the bottom line, there's the track right there. It looks pretty good right now. And as you can see, some spots are starting to dry out.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they might have to add a little water there, because that's the problem when you add that drying agent. You just don't know. And that's that sand that we were talking about that gave to the left-hand side there. A lot of riders fits, but this is the 450B free practice out there. You're going to notice number 45, Kyle Cunningham, a West Coast guy. He jumps up to the 450. It'll be interesting to see how Kyle Cunningham does here tonight.
Yeah, and Andy, you said in that package that it rained. It didn't just rain. I mean, it was a flat-out monsoon early in the week. And I actually talked to some guys that work at the Georgia Dome on Thursday night at the Atlanta Sports Awards, and they said that it's a major problem. They were really concerned about this dirt, and it looks good enough anyway so far, but we'll see after a bunch of practice sessions and a bunch of races. But you mentioned the sand. That draggons back into the sand. We already saw 4 guys in 250As go down there.
Hard.
They jump off that dragons back in the sand. They don't know where the rut is. They're jumping blind into the sand, and it changes every single lap. It's going to be really tricky.
Well, that's why they call it Supercross. It's the toughest motorsport in the world, in my opinion, and that's why these guys make the big bucks and get the hot girls, man. That's why this sport is as tough as it is, and it'll be good. They're going to continue to work on it throughout the night. We're a little bit behind on the schedule right now because of the track maintenance. That's going to be a reoccurring theme throughout today. But the Feld track crew is second to none in their hard work and their hard work ethic. And trust me, by the main events, the track will be as best as it can possibly be.
Oh, it will. They're going to get in there in between, in between the qualifying and the final qualifying session will be great. And then after that, they get a chance to work it. I mean, we've seen them work miracles, and the track will be fine tonight.
All season long, yeah, absolutely. But guys, a name we haven't talked about much. I think we brought it up one time. And with the return of James Stewart means the return of the rivalry between Chad Reed and James Stewart. And don't forget, Chad Reed won this last year. I talked to him down there on track walk, and he said, you know what, I feel pretty good. Had a good week of training and testing on the bike. Seems like he's ready to go.
And the thing with Chad is he looked good for the first 3 or 4 rounds. In the last few, it's just been sort of hit or miss. He hasn't looked fantastic. He's sort of been buried in the pack. But you're right. I mean, last year he got the whole shot here, and he looked different. He looked like the Chad Reed we saw in the mid-2000s, late 2000s, and hopefully he can recapture that, because this is the kind of track that he's had success with in the past.
Yeah, he's going to need that confidence. I mean, because last weekend, that 12th that he had in Arlington, he wins it. It's been a long time since Chad Reed's been outside that top 10 there, but like you said, I think Chad rides a little differently when he gets that hole shot. If he can collect $1,500 from supercrosslive.com and he's in the front and the crowd's behind him, he'll do whatever it takes to get on the podium and to win that event. But I think when he's buried in the back of the pack like that 6, 7, 8, I think he's hating life. He's been around a long time. He's going to be 34 here pretty quick, and when he gets those bad starts, he just doesn't have that drive and determination like when we see when he gets those hole shots.
Absolutely. Well, we've talked a lot about the track but let's take a really close look at it and see some of these rhythm lanes. A lot of them are very technical, and the whoop sections are really long. We have a wall jump, we have a sand jump. Let's take a look at this week's Kawasaki track map.
Well, it's getting ready to set up here.
Long start, Jim Holly.
Yeah, real long. That's the gates down now. You're going to rock it down out, start in second. If you're Andrew Short, you're going to be in third, but you're going to make this left-hander. I kind of like this little short shoot here, and then another left-hander right out of here. Step-on, step-offs. There's 3 of those step-on, step-offs, because here's another one, but this guy's going to clear it all the way and just go into that sweeping left-hand corner. After that, you got the nice 65-foot triple. If you can triple this section here, they're doubling it. I think that's going to be the faster way. And then you got that right-hander. That's a wall jump right there. It's a straight wall jump into a set of whoops. And then after that, you got the left-hander back down that long starting line straightaway, and then you're going to hook a right. It's a nice sweeping right-hander as they come up to the Monster Energy finish line. Big whip there, land on the downside, carry that momentum into those whoops. Try to get underneath some guys here. Those are the 180s we talked about. You got that triple there. You're going to do another one. Then you got the dragon back coming up here like you talked about. Bop, bop, bop. And then you're into that sand, and you don't have sand tires. After that, you're back going. You go back into that first turn. That's a look here in Atlanta here. And you got that beautiful red Georgia clay you see there. And you see some of those ruts starting to develop that we talked about on that wall jump as they come out of that right-hander before they get into the whoops.
Yeah, and you mentioned the rhythm section after the first triple. The 250s are going double triple into the corner, but the 450s are. The 250s weren't, except for Malcolm Stewart. Malcolm Stewart was coming out of there going triple double, and it seemed like it was working for him.
It looked fast.
And I don't know if it's necessarily going to be something that the 450s really want to try, because they seem to be going double triple. But for the 250s, that may be the fast line.
Right. Well, and the other thing you got to look at too is, things will work here in qualifying in the heat race, but as that main event progresses, it won't work. The ruts will start developing, so you got to have both options. If it's early enough and you got a good start and you want to put a little time distance, and maybe you pull the trigger, but halfway through those main events, maybe you got to back it down.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a game of cat and mouse with all these guys. When the track is the way it is, you can't just pin it the whole time. You have to really think ahead. You have to count on that rut that works good for the first 5 laps. It's going to go away. You're going to have to move down in the corners and use different lines. Use different lines in the whoops. You're going to see guys going all the way to the bales to try to get where they're not rutted out and they're not cupped out. But eventually, every line on the track is going to be chewed up, and it's just going to be, hey, battle of the fittest.
Well, and we always say it each and every week or each and every year when we come back to Atlanta. It's whoever makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win the main event. Even the winner is going to make a mistake out here, because this is that type of track where you're searching around for different lines and everything as that race progresses, and you make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to the start, I think, too. I mean, you can say that every week, but, when it comes to this, you want to get away from everybody else, because everybody else is going to make mistakes, too. If you go, bar to bar into the sand, you don't know what the guy next to you is going to do, and a lot of times he may crash, based on what we've seen so far. So it's going to be a lot of fun tonight.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great show. We're going to have a huge crowd. Got some good guests coming on. We're going to have a lot of fun here on Race Day Live all day long. Well, at least for 4 hours. I want to thank all the international viewers for tuning in. You guys make up half of our viewers. Thank you, all you guys from Germany, Canada, Australia, England, all over the world. Thank you for tuning in. Like we were saying, we're just talking about guys that don't make mistakes. And one of the names that have been on the podium this year that's always solid, number 14, Cole Seeley. Look for him to maybe be in your top 3 fantasy picks maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Cole's been awesome. I mean, when he gets out front, he has that speed. The trick for Cole is actually getting out front early, because when we saw it in his first win last year at Houston, when he gets out front, he's gone.
He can go.
And it's just a matter of actually getting that start. Guys like Dungey have been sort of monopolizing that so far this year, but if he can get out front, this is the kind of track that I think may fit him well.
Yeah, and you talk to a guy, number 14, Cole Seeley. He already had a crash in that sand section in the free practice we were talking about there, but Cole Seeley's one of those type of guys that you both talked about. If he gets a start, he's going to be good, but he's not aggressive enough like an Anderson when you get a bad start to work up there like we saw Anderson. He had 3/4 in a row, and then last weekend in Arlington, he breaks into that top 3 finally, but like you said, it's going to take a good start. Look at who got the starts last weekend. Like you said, Dungey and Roczen, and they were 1-2. And a guy like Muskin that starts from dead last, he can only work up to about that 6th spot.
Well, here we go, guys. We're talking about fantasy, so let's go to the first Rocky Mountain ATV MC fantasy segment. I always kick it off, Jim. Go ahead. Who's your top 3 for tonight? Who do you got?
Well, we saw him out there in that first free practice. It was, Anderson was out there leading it. Dungey was following him, and Roczen. I mean, that could be right now, but we still got 2 more qualifying sessions. That may change as we go on. I know Kurt Binke and some of the guys, they always want to see that, Dungey back here. Dungey won last year here. I mean, the guy is just phenomenal. 4 wins, everything else has been seconds for him. I mean, how do you not leave that guy off the top of the podium if you're picking your RM Fantasy Insider?
Those are solid. Who do you got, Barry?
I'm going to go Dungey for the win. I'm going to go Marvin Muskin actually having some success getting a start early. And then for sentimental purposes, also because he was good last year, Chad Reed. I wanted to pick Roczen because obviously he's had a really good amount of success lately. But, Roczen last year on this kind of soil, and where he crashed over in the corner and then again in the whoops, it seemed to not fit him well. And if he doesn't get a start, and it's kind of, even though he's had good starts lately, still don't necessarily trust him every single week. If he gets in the mid-pack, he may press a little bit and end up in disaster.
I agree, Barry. Here's our top picks right now, and it kind of mimics what you guys have said. Dungey, Roczen, Anderson, Tomac 4th, Seeley 5th. The wild card in 13th place, Will Hahn. Looks pretty solid right there.
That sounds pretty good. For the wild card, you could put a couple other guys in there. One of the guys that I would have put in there, and I put him in there last week, Christoph Porcel, but he had an 8th.
Here's our leaderboard. We got Sarah Corona, 438 points, an 8-point lead over the edge. And in 3rd place is Martella 170 at 424. So it's pretty close right there. You got to remember that the grand prize for this stuff is a Toyota Tacoma, a Toyota Tacoma pickup. And the other 1st and 2nd place prizes, a 450 and a 250F. And remember to go to rnfantasysx.com and play Fantasy Supercross, because everybody's having a good time. It's a great year to do it. And those were our picks today. So it's going to be exciting. I didn't get to use my picks, so I think Ken Roczen has the juice right now. Okay. I think he's got his starts figured out. He's hungry. In the interviews we've done with him, he kind of has a grit in his teeth and a little bit of fire. He knows he has ground to make up. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to make up much ground on Ryan Dungey. I think Ryan Dungey's going to be 2nd. And I'm going to go with Jason Anderson in 3rd, just like the top pick said, because those guys right now are just so strong.
Yeah, Anderson does look good. When he gets it moving, like you said, he can charge through the pack. He can let it all hang out, and this may be one of those tracks where that benefits him immensely.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's aggressive early. When he gets to somebody's rear tire, he doesn't wait. He attacks immediately. He's a little bit rough, not totally. I wouldn't use the word dirty, but if he gets to your rear tire and you look over and see number 21, you better get on the gas or know that he's going to go around you in a hurry, one way or the other.
Well, we've seen him ride like that, and I think that this track warrants that. His riding ability, just kind of like a Bob Hanna, feet off the pegs. Jersey hanging out. Look at that pass he made on Chad Reed back in Oakland, almost losing it. I think that it could be his night.
Yeah, it could be his night. It could be his night. Well, hey, Barry, we've had a lot of fun with you, man. Thank you for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me again.
Hey, congratulations. You're a new father just like Andy.
Thank you.
January 19th, January 20th, couple of brand new girls. So,
Hey, we got something for you, a parting gift for you from the SEC. I got a little button for you. Not that you probably don't have a couple of those already.
I can always
but
take more.
Pin it up and say it was from Race Day Live.
There you go. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot more fun, a lot more guests. We have a lot more Race Day Live coming up. Stay tuned. AMSOIL. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend.
Choose AMSOIL synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
High RPM aggressive riding takes a toll on your engine. Extreme heat adds to the challenge. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil synthetic base oils resist viscosity loss. The oil provides a protective film against wear to gears, bearings, and pistons. An extreme simulated start test and on-track testing with professional riders reveals AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil delivers bulletproof wear protection. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil. Out front performance.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute invites you to text SX to 82257. Enter for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE. Again, text SX to 82257 for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE.
What's up, guys? Chase here at Rocky Mountain ATVMC, and it is time for Fantasy Supercross. If you played Fantasy Supercross last year, the gameplay for this year is going to feel very similar. However, we have made some big changes to scoring that we think you guys are going to love. For 2016, we'll be giving away over $100,000 in prizes. Our grand prize will be the all-new 2016 Toyota Tacoma. We also have a brand new Race Prep KX450F and a KX250F for our first and second place winners. We have got a ton of other prizes that we're going to be giving away as well. We've also got weekly prizes for our top 10 winners, so if you get a late start to the season, it's not a big deal. You will still have plenty of chances to win. To start playing, simply go to www.rmfantasysx.com and create an account. RM Fantasy SX is fun, it is easy to play, and it makes Monster Energy Supercross even more exciting, so make sure you sign up and start today.
Everything you thought you knew about off-road vehicles is about to be redefined. Introducing the world's first and only pure sport side-by-side, the all-new YXZ-1000R from Yamaha. With a high-performance 3-cylinder engine, 5-speed sequential shifting, and long-travel Fox suspension, the world of off-road sports side-by-sides has shifted forever.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
welcome back to round 8 inside the Georgia Dome, the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. We have track prep underway right now, and that's going to be a reoccurring thing today, Jim Hawley.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, I think that, they need to do this to make sure the track's great for, the heat races and the main events tonight. So they're good. The Feld track crew out there just kind of working it, kind of getting all those ruts out. And, it's amazing. Every time I look at that, man, back in my day, we were out in Fulton County Stadium. We didn't have this.
Feet off the pegs.
Yeah, the tracks are just meant for these guys.
Just a little ruts.
Yeah.
They'll be okay. We're going to keep working on the track throughout the day, and it's going to be a reoccurring theme on Race Day Live. So we got a lot of packages to run for you today. But we were talking about Ken Roczen and the run that he's on right now. And, Dungey, he's only finished second or first. He has 4 wins all year long. But, Roczen's done what he had to do. He had a rough start to the championship. You'll remember his first heat race of the year.
On the ground.
On the ground, hard, right. And then didn't have a very fortunate main event. He's tried to scratch and claw his way back in. But he's in a good spot. We haven't got to the halfway of the championship yet. There's still a lot of racing to go. Roczen has the momentum right now. And, he was pretty pumped after his win last weekend. Let's go back and take a look at that interview with Ken Roczen.
Kenny, you had to fight back for that one. You fought hard and got another victory.
We definitely did. We grabbed the whole shot, which was amazing. I don't get that feeling too often. We had a good battle going on. He passed me, I passed him right back, and I think this is how you want to win the race, definitely. So, I'm super stoked with tonight. The whole crew did an amazing job. We told us the entire day that we are going to go for it, and we want it, we get it, we take it, and it was an amazing feeling just to get that win. And gives me some great momentum for the week.
Yeah, it's tough to lead a lot of laps. Dungey kept attacking, but you can counter, and it seemed like you could pick your lines back up. Did you find something to smooth out there, and how was you able to pull away at the end and get enough to get the victory?
Yeah, I honestly, I thought he was close the entire time. I was just trying to hit my marks. It's really slick on some spots, and he really had to land in that pocket back there to be able to make that triple, which was a tough thing to do. But we made it happen, and God, I can't thank my team enough, and especially my mechanic. I love him. He's the greatest out there, and we're a great team.
Right,
all of us. The whole team. But me and Oscar, we're down together on the line, and it's me and him. And we knew we were going to do it tonight. We said it the entire day, and we've done it.
Like you said, you got the start. Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much, guys.
There was 2 things in that interview that really stood out to me. He said, A, we're going to do it, and he said, B, we're going to get the start. And I think the confidence and actually saying that you're going to do it, visualizing what you're going to do, having it in your head, that goes a long ways. It's all about confidence. These guys are all the best in the world, but once they get bullheaded about winning these things, grit their teeth, I think the wins really start to come down.
Well, I think the other thing is that he's done so many starts. Out west, we talked to him. He says, yeah, we practiced 400 starts. Really, he did practice 400 starts during the week, and it's starting to pay off. And they made some changes to the bike like he talked about with Oscar, his mechanic. They're always changing things. They want to make him happy, and it seems like he's in a happy place right now.
It does seem like he's in a happy place. It looked like his bike was looking really good. I like to watch the mechanics of the machines going around the corners, hugging the insides, the way that the attitude is through the whoops. And his bike looks like it's working really good. They've done a lot of things on that. They changed the front end on it, I think for this year with the forks. Whatever it took. When you interviewed Ricky Carmichael, one of his team managers at the beginning of the season, they said, look, we're going to do whatever it takes. Himself, Kerry Hart, Mark Johnson, Kyle Bentley, on down the list. Those guys want to win. They believe they can win this championship. They're 23 points behind, but they're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, especially after last week. If he didn't win last week, that point, he would have 30-something now,
right.
But now he's chipped it back down to 23, and he can win here tonight, and Dungey gets second, and he's got it back into 20. Hey, things are looking realistic.
Let's transition to another guy that won the season opener. He won the season opener. Jason Anderson came back and gave Husky that big win. It was awesome. He rode incredible. He hasn't finished out of the top 5 through 7 rounds. I think Jason Anderson is a guy who really wants to assert himself into this championship, similar to the way that Ken Roczen had. He just has to figure out those starts.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing that mind boggles me about Anderson is I got to go back to October, the Monster Energy Cup. He won a brand new Toyota Tundra. He had 3 hole shots in those 3 main events, and I'm thinking, okay, then he follows it up, and he had to work for that win in Anaheim.
Right.
But then after that, he's been struggling. Coming through the semis and stuff, crashing in the heat races and things like that. But he's on a roll now. He finished up 3rd last weekend.
That's right. He was on the podium. Jim Hawley caught up with him. Here's what Myra Tinajero caught up with him, and here's what he had to say.
Now, Jason, we haven't seen you on the podium since that season opener, which you won. This one's got to feel pretty satisfying to find yourself in third.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's good to be back up here, and I had one which didn't really count. You know, I got docked, but I've been just hovering around fourth, third. But I really want to step up there with those guys. But you know, if you're not with them when they break away, it's kind of hard to get that pace and catch them. You know, because they're at the top of their game right now. So it's tough.
Absolutely. You know what? You had your best start this week, starting out in 5th. The first time that we saw you on the podium, you had your best start. Then take us through what you've been doing for your starts and how it helped you today.
Yeah, you know, that heat race, I got the whole shot, which was pretty cool. And then I got my first heat win of the night ever for 450 class, and then got on the podium. And my starts definitely were key in getting up here. So it's kind of a relief, you know, to get it off my shoulders, because everyone's just like, I come back from getting 4th or whatever, they're like, good race, but your start was crap, you know. So now that I'm able to get that monkey off my back, not the podium, more so the start.
There was a little bit of a gap between you and Cole Seeley. Where on the track were you able to make up some time and then make a move on him?
You know, I feel like I just started hitting my marks around like lap 8, and really just started bringing up the intensity a little bit. You know, I kind of fell flat a little there after I got around Alessi, and then just picked up the pace. And
well, there you heard it from Jason Anderson. We're going to try to get to the track here before too long, because they're back out there, and the track's been worked on. It looks good. We're going to get some action going on here, Jim Hawley.
Yeah, it will, in that 250B qualifying session there.
Number one.
For all you fans who are wondering where Myra is, you got a little bit of time off. We'll see here at Santa Clara on April 2nd. That's when we'll bring Myra back. And she was rocking that hat, too.
Yeah, she said she's watching the show, so we know you're at home, Myra. We hope you're feeling better, and thank you for doing such a good job through 7 weeks, and we can't wait to have you back. But here we go, 250 qualifying B number 1. And that section right there to the left of your screen, Jim Hawley, that's the one that's been a little bit it's been a lot challenging so far today.
Yeah, it has been, and you're going to watch some of these guys, and like we talked about earlier in the show, that this dragging back, when you jump into it, we switch cameras, but there's Vicky Golden making her return back to Supercross. Last time we saw her compete Las Vegas at early May of last year, and then she got an illness, but she's looking to be one of 40 fastest to get into the night program. She looks a lot more comfortable than
she does
in last year in that rookie season.
I know she's worked hard. Her and Kenny Bell have been at the Supercross tracks, pounding out laps, and I think she's going to be more aggressive. I remember last year, Jim, you were like, man, she's not going for it enough in the beginning of these practices. There's not a lot of time to get the job done. As you can see right now, she's attacking. Yeah,
she's pulling the trigger there. That step on, step off. She should have maybe jumped up onto it and see some guys come underneath her and stuff, but she'll get it. See, that's that triple right there. That's what we talked about. You know, you got to hit that triple right away, but that guy came underneath her and, slowed her momentum down there, but she'll be fine. She looks a lot better than we saw her in the, a lot more aggressive in the whoops. Yeah, look at it. It looks like she put on some muscle and everything. She can handle that 250 Suzuki right now. We'll see if she can get it done.
As Benny Blows comes around to complete, he's
51.7.
Yeah.
So right there, that tells me with Benny, that 51.7, and we're going to get down into the high 49s here and stuff.
And our screen right there, can't quite make out. Looks like number 351. That's Eric Grandal.
7 more minutes to go in this one as he goes up and over that. And that's a big from
Claremont, Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, the finish line's a huck. It's steep.
This is that dragon back he's going to be coming up to right here, and then you jump and you land into the sand. Right there, you land right into that sand, and they don't have sand tires, so when they go to turn the wheel, sometimes it pushes. Then they go to grab a handful of rear throttle. It's spinning. Next thing you know, you're on the ground.
There's Van Martin, and it was in your screen right there. Let me see, I think it still is. Yeah, Van Martin, number 421.
Paul
Houston,
Coates.
Houston, Texas.
Second there.
Van was moonlighting on the West Coast, riding a 450, getting some Supercross experience. Looks good there through the whoops, really aggressive.
Yeah, I think the guys are going to be all happy with the whoops tonight. They're not too long, they're not too deep. I think they're just right for these guys.
Yeah, till the main event, and they got ruts in them, man. They're going to be tough. As you can see, the dragon back and the different styles through there. There's only one way to attack that thing. You got to attack it. You got to go for it.
Jump into it.
Yep. Up and over the finish line there.
Darren Durham now jumping up to the, good to see him back, 159. Darren Durham up to the top of the board with a 51.6. So good to see, welcome Darren Durham back. Been a while since we've seen him on a Supercross track too.
It has, and a lot of expectations. There's been a lot of people, saying, hey, this kid's hungry. He had some bad luck when he had his good opportunities on the factory teams, but he has something that you can't take away, Jim, speed. And my friend David Iser on TMSX Radio said, call it, stamp it, call it whatever you want it. He's going to put him on the podium. So,
wow, good.
Yeah, pretty bold there.
He's got a teammate over there. We talked to him out west, Tyler Bierman.
Yeah.
He's going to be out there.
If there was a whip contest, he'd definitely be on the podium. Tyler Bierman, man. Or, the runaway winner. The guy can get it done on a whip. That's a pretty good-sized triple out of the corner there for these 250s. The wall jump.
You mentioned Benny out there. Blouse?
Benny Blouse, yeah.
Blouse?
He won the 458 class at Loretta Lynn's this summer. And, there's been a lot of talk about him. I heard some guys on Track Walk saying, look out for Benny Blouse, He's a big, tall, lanky kid. Vicky,
Vicky now, she double singled the triple. Now the next lap, Vicky, you got to come around. You got to pull the trigger and do that triple. She's sitting right now. She's sitting in 21st with a 106.9, so she can take a few seconds off of that by just being a little bit more aggressive.
Right. Benny Blouse jumps up to the top with a little under 5 minutes to go. Top 5 is Benny Blouse, Darren Durham, John Short, Paul Coates, and Joshua Cartwright. Once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to Race Day Live. Thank all of our international guests. And ask us some questions. Use the hashtag AskRDL. Me and Jimmy, and we get around the pits. We ask all the factory mechanics. If you have any questions about the way Monster Energy Supercrosses ran, send us in.
There's Benny right there. Now he jumps up to the top with a 50.8. Paul Coates, a 51.4, and Darren Durham still at that 51.6. So Benny kind of going there, 167, just kind of going around the track, and he is a big boy. Let's watch him go over through the whoops here. He's right next to Vicky Golden. See, that's where you got to be a little bit more aggressive, like Benny was. So now if you're Vicky, you want to tag onto the back of this guy.
Watch what he does. Right, exactly. That's exactly what she's doing.
Tag onto that guy and follow him around. Oh, now you got a caution flag. There's Vicky. Okay, let's see the dragon back. A little aggressive. About 2:57 now left in this one. Benny looks like he might be on a heater this lap. See what he comes around on. He's got a 50.8. Let's see if he can drop that down. Looks like he's really charging here.
Looks good.
Yeah, he's using that tall body, a lot like Mike Bell and Mike Bell rode and stuff. He's getting with it, Benny. Getting ready to come up this last, notice how he goes that inside. You don't want to leave that door open. He just rolled up to it. Let's see.
He looks really good. I'm impressed.
Yeah, 51.6.
Uh-huh.
So, about a second or so.
Couple tenths.
Yeah, a couple tenths slower.
Time running out. Not time running out. We still got 2 minutes to go, so a few more laps for these folks. It's Benny Blouse, Paul Coates, Darren Durham, John Short, and Van Martin rounding out the top 5.
Looks like Vicky might be on a heater. That Dragonback's giving her a little bit of a problem.
It's intimidating. It's super intimidating. I mean, I know that these guys were watching the first practices, and the guys that were pulling the trigger right off the bat, picking themselves up out of that sand, that's a little bit of a deterrent when you go to twist that throttle and send it in there. This is a technical track, Jim Hawley. This is round 8, and it's typical for the Feld track crew to make these tracks a little more intense as the series progresses. So, this is a big track. We got 6 lanes, long rhythm lanes with a lot of different options.
Yeah, I think everybody tonight here that's riding going to be happy with the track. I mean, I think that They look at it. It's challenging. It's safe. And, you know, the guy who can figure out the fastest win this thing tonight and stay out of trouble.
That's the key.
Got to remember, lap traffic's going to be a little bit of a problem here tonight, too.
A lot of a problem, right. You know, the line, there's going to be, as the track, you know, ruts up and gets chewed up.
There's Paul Coates right there, 175 on the Honda.
You know, as the track develops and gets chewed up.
Is that a Cowie or a Honda he's on? It says Cowie on the monitor, but that looks pretty red to me.
Yeah.
That's 175, correct? Unless I'm wrong on my eyes.
That's a Honda.
That's a Honda. It said a Cowie he's on the monitor. He must have changed. A lot of guys, you know, sometimes they might be on a Cowie or something, and they get a little guy to sponsor them on a couple
There's
Hondas.
Vicky jumping the
pull
triple.
the trigger. Nice.
Whoa.
Oh, hang on to it. That's what we talked about with that sand.
It's pretty gnarly through there. It almost looks like an outdoor section.
There's Darren Durham, 159. Time running out. Benny Bloss. Looks like he's going to hang on to it.
Checkered flag is out. Benny Bloss, 250B qualifying number 1. Here at the season opener of the Eastern Divisional 250 SX Championship. Top 5, Benny Bloss, Paul Coates, Darren Durham, Joshua Cartwright, John Short. And Vicky picked up her pace right there, ran a 58.7. So, you know, I think to get into the show, probably going to have to drop a couple more seconds. I think 2 full more seconds, but she's not a whole, you know, she's not too far off.
I mean, the good thing is that, you know, earlier she was at a 106, and now she's brought it down to a 58.7. You got one more time. She can go back and look at some film, and you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at it, and she knows where she needs to pick it up at. You're going to have to do the dragon back. You're going to have to get comfortable with that and jumping into that sand after the dragon back. You're going to have to, you know, hit the triple on every lap. To carry that momentum. It's very hard when you're out there and you get one section down, but you got to put it all together for one lap to try to get those lap times down, and you know, just
hope nobody goes down in front of you.
Stick behind Benny.
Yeah,
just jump behind Benny right when he comes out and be one. You know, that's something that will come with confidence. We always see her. She kind of takes off at the ladder, lets all the guys kind of go. You know, jump right out there. Show them that you're here. Show them you mean business.
Right, absolutely. You know. You have to show them that you mean, but you have to be aggressive. It's Supercross. There's not a lot of time for these practices. Like Jim Hawley just explained, you you got to go for it. And, you know, speaking of going for it, the Feld crew that put together Chasing the Dream, their episode 1 was a huge hit. And they've already finished episode 2, Monster Energy Supercross Chasing the Dream. Episode 2 is put together. Here's a little teaser to check that out.
On the next episode of Monster Energy Supercross Chasing the Dream.
We want to be champions again. We'd be far more grateful than ever the champion that we were in 2004 and 2008.
We are a team, and we always have been, and I don't know any other way to be.
My results haven't been that great, but I feel like I've been riding good. But the most important part is for me that I'm having fun. You know, I'm putting my heart into it, and that's ultimately what it's about for me.
We look for big things for him. He's not going to be happy with anything less than a championship.
This is when the nervousness starts to creep out. It's Judgment Day for the riders. What you dream of, man.
Hey, old man, just remember it goes right.
So March 13th at 12:30 Eastern Time. You got to make sure and check Monster Energy Supercross Chasing the Dream. Like I said, episode 1, I'm a consummate fan, and I loved the first one. I know the second one's going to be even better. Shows the raw emotion of the mechanics and the trainers and these riders. You get some behind the scenes. You get a little bit of the smack talk back and forth. You know, it was cool in the first episode seeing Dungey and James Stewart when they met each other. And Dungey walked up to James and kind of did one of those things, and James was like, "Hey man, how are you doing?" You know, but it's cool to see those guys cut up and stuff. But you know, Chasing the Dream, March 13th on Sunday, 12:30 Eastern Time. Tune in, FS1.
9:30 for me on that West Coast. You got to remember the West Coast, 9:30. Right. Then I got to get up a little early.
Right. Well, we're here inside the Georgia Dome. It's round 8, 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. A lot going on this weekend. The folks from NASCAR are here over at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we're going to do something that's never happened before at intermission tonight, Jim Hawley. We're going to have Greg Biffle, Ricky Stenhouse, Ty Dillon, and Clint Boyer jump on 250F machines, and they're going to do a hole shot. You know, so I don't know how I've been able to talk these guys into doing it, but they're going to do it, and it's going to be exciting.
Well, and the other thing, too, is anytime you talk about racers going out there, you know, and now you put a little bit of money. I mean, for the hole shot, it's $1,500 from Oakley for that hole shot.
Right.
So, I mean, these guys are going to be going for it tonight, and it'll be good because a lot of Supercross fans are a lot of NASCAR fans also.
Yeah, it's the NASCAR Hole Shot Challenge presented by Oakley. They put up $1,500, and that money is going to go to the Asterix Medical Unit. You know, and I was Mr. Anthony Paggio involved, Oakley. He's their representative, and you know, he was like, you know, I want this money to go somewhere worthwhile, and what better place than the Asterix Medical Unit? You know, so it's great. You know, I'm super proud of it. Can't wait to see those guys do it. You know, those guys are, the thing is, they're taking it seriously. I kind of told them, I was like, look, this is an exhibition, not a race. But as this is getting closer, I've been talking to them, and they've been practicing. They've bought motorcycles, you know, and I think Ricky Stenhouse is getting a whole shot device, you know, attached to his bike. Carlos is working on it. Dungey's factory mechanic. So
I'm helping out Greg Biffle, right?
Right.
All right.
You know, you got to tell him to get over the front of that bike and get that 250F up in the RPMs.
How much does he weigh?
Oh, not very much. Probably about 160 pounds, yeah.
All right, he'll be good.
Yeah. It's going to be fun, but we're 250C qualifying number 1 is on the track right now. Tough track. We've been talking about it all night. But there we go. 250C
look who's
qualifying number 1.
Out front already, Darren Durham's teammate, Tyler Bierman, with a 52.4 right there. And I want to welcome back a rider that's, we haven't seen him in a while, but Trevor Ezel, number 326, sitting in 10th right now. About a minute flat for Trevor, so hopefully he can pick it up. And right now, we're looking at, they're going so fast, I can't even see the number. One of the riders down right there. That's 512.
I watched him in the first session, and he hit the dirt pretty hard.
That's
glad
Andrew,
he's back up.
Andrew, is that Silverman? Silverstein, I think. His name's not all the way across there, but he's
number
up and
512 there, yeah.
He'll be all right.
That's right, Andrew Silverstein out of Canyon Lake, California. As we're watching number 411, Dylan Walker taking an easy trip through the whoops.
Dylan not doing too bad. He just moved up to the top of the leaderboard with a 51.8. Now once a guy does that, then you usually just kind of back it down for a lap and see where you're at.
That guy's on the gas, getting through the rhythm nice and clean. Number 412, Jared Lesher. From here in Georgia, local boy, so no wonder he's on the gas so much. He's going to have the hometown crowd cheering him on. He looks like he's putting a good lap together. We'll see if he jumps up. He's currently sitting in 6th position.
Oh, a little bit of a swap there at the end of the whoop.
Yeah. We're going to see a lot of that. A lot of mistakes. You know, track's tough. These are the best Supercross riders in the world, and you know this track creates a big challenge for him. Like that guy right there, number 411, sending it into the whoops. He was fearless.
Well, that's why he's
Dylan
on top.
Walker.
That's why he's on top of the leaderboard right
Dylan
now.
Walker, yeah, on the gas.
A little bit of a mistake there. And, you know, I'm not so sure that sand section, you want to stand up and weight the pegs, and you know, a lot of these guys are sitting down. You know, when you're in sand and you're in a sand wash riding out in the desert, you really don't sit down. You got to stand up in the sand, you know, so I'm sure they'll change it up.
I agree, Jim Hawley, yeah. Dylan Walker, he lists FCC Motorsports, Oleans, KSR Wheels, Webcams, Ride Engineering, and Twin Air are some of his sponsors. He's at the top of the leaderboard, so he deserves to have a shout out to those sponsors. Out there riding hard with a little under, you see, 3.5 minutes to go.
But now number 297, Henry Miller on a Honda. He moves up 51.4 for him. And wow, that was a good fast lap through the whoops. Who was that?
That's our friend number 512.
Is that him? That's our buddy? It's Silverstein?
Yeah.
He's on a heater right now. Let's see what he can.
He's been charging all
there you go,
day.
jumping in the sand, stay on the bike, keep the throttle on. Oh yeah, well, I'm not sure what that was. He looked like he was on a heater. Looked like he
lost a little momentum there.
There you go. Well, he's still going good. Let's see if he can pick it up. Step on, step off, carry that around there. Right now he's sitting in, Andrew's sitting in 6th with a 53.1. Let's see if he can better that time.
About 2.5 minutes to go. Henry Miller, Dylan Walker, Jared Lesher, Tyler Bierman, and Andrew Silverstone. Whoa, going from one side of the track to the other there, number 297.
Yeah, now it's got a couple of yellow
Henry
flags
Miller.
out. Not sure if another rider probably just got up on the way out of the sand section there. I really love that sand section. I think it's,
I do too.
I think it's neat.
Yeah, it's
putting it in there.
It's technical. Man, he is not afraid of the whoops. Dylan Walker.
Speaking about Walker, I saw Matt Walker out on the track walk.
Good.
And one of your old buddies I ran into last week at Arlington in the pits, Chad Pedersen, said to say hi.
Yeah, Chad Pedersen, man.
Yeah.
My old buddy from the Arena Cross series. And yeah, we had a lot of fun together. Sometimes I made the mistake of knocking him down on accident once, and that wasn't a good idea. As we got a rider down here.
Gonna go over and
he's
talk
up
to
and walking. So yeah, that's Tyler Bierman right there. So he's down pretty hard.
Take his helmet off and stuff. He's gonna talk to Eddie Casillas over there from the Asterix Mobile Medical Unit. Not sure where he got off at on the track. I'm trying to see where he's sitting right now.
Yeah, he's over here by the wall. So we'll hope he's okay. He's giving Eddie Casillas a tap on the shoulders. He's gonna be okay.
There he is. He probably just lost the front end going into that right-hander.
Yeah, I was afraid if it was a corner, maybe he caught a knee or something.
Or he might have been trying to triple in right here. You see how he double-singled? He might have tried that.
Lost it there.
Kind of came up a little short or something.
Yeah, when we see the A group come out, pay attention to that section before the wall. Malcolm Stewart was right here where there was the triple. This guy just hit Silverstein. Malcolm Stewart's tripling in and then doubling. Oh, Silverstein. I'm telling you.
He's
up
a
to
hard
fifth
charger.
now.
Oh, he's just like Anderson. He don't care. He's jerseys out, everything. He's just like Anderson. Is Tyler Bierman going to regroup?
Back on. Yeah.
He's heading back to the truck. He's going to grab his mechanic. This one's about over. He's got a little bit more to go.
Andrew Silverstone, the hard charger, takes it to the top of the board with time running out.
I love it.
I know it. Picks himself up off the ground, has a spill, goes out there and gets the job done. The job done. I'm going to keep my eye on him tonight because I'm telling you, on the first lap of the first practice today, he sent the triple, went through the rhythm fast, skimmed the whoops, and then he crashed pretty hard over the Dragonback section, but nothing slowing him down so far. 51.4. Andrew Silverstein.
Yeah, good time. That'll definitely get him into the night program for sure.
He lists Blue Buffalo, Slater Skins, and Yamaha as his sponsors. Andrew Silverstein at the top of 250C, qualifying number 1. Checkered flag is out. So pretty good practice session right there for the C group, I thought, Jim Hawley.
No, you know, there wasn't too many yellow flags out there, which was good, and everybody looked relatively fast. I mean, look at that. There's only one guy in the minute. Dalton down there in the... We don't have enough letters there. I know it doesn't say Hawley. It's H-O-L-L-E. I know it's not a Y.
Which number are you looking at, Jim?
In the 404. Dalton?
Yeah, number 404 is Dalton. Looks like, yeah, it's not Hawley. It must be Holay. He's out of Iowa.
Something interesting. You see the mechanics right there? Packing the starting line. They want to feel what it feels like when the A guys come out here when they go get a start. They're packing it down because that's where they're going to line up. They want to feel exactly what that soil is going to feel like.
Yeah. See these guys lining up in the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. First time we're going to, we see the 250A guys today.
Yeah, and you notice right by that starting gate there, that extra little bit of dirt. That's what their dirt works, the Feld track crew. They're getting that extra dirt and filling in all those ruts as you're seeing everybody lined up there. Gannon Audette, 61. He's riding for the Legends and Heroes.
Hampshire jumps out there first.
It's the difference between the B, C, and A. Look at everybody hucks that triple right away. Everybody's hucking it. Do that double. There's Hampshire tripling in like his teammate Malcolm Stewart. Yeah.
There's Plessinger right behind you, and he was unbelievably fast the first time these guys were on the track. By far the most aggressive rider I saw. And
see Matt Bichelia back there, number 32 on the Suzuki, a new ride for him.
MotorcycleSuperstore.com, Suzuki. Wow.
Yeah, just made it look like a straightaway.
Malcolm would be fast in the whoops too. I'm excited to see Malcolm. He's excited to race here.
There's Malcolm right there, kind of taking a little bit easy that first lap, just kind of letting things unwind. But Plessinger knows that he's not a rookie anymore.
Sophomore. Extremely talented. He's not afraid of the ruts. He's a wood rider, so not afraid of the ruts. He looked good. He rode press day and looked good.
No, I know. Okay, say it.
Okay. Malcolm just getting up to speed. Seat bouncing through there.
Let's see what he does here. Well, we're going to go back on Plessinger.
Aaron Plessinger ran a 49.2 out there his first time around. So
yeah, pretty fast.
Yeah.
He's going to get through that sand real good, too. Surprised he didn't stand up.
He's a graduate of the Ricky Carmichael Road to Supercross, and ever since doing that, he picked up an arena cross victory. He won, he was at the amateur all-star class in the Monster Energy Cup. He picked up a podium last year in Supercross. He won the last Outdoor National of the Year. I think Aaron Plessinger is going to be one of the next superstars in our sport. Great attitude, good kid.
I always thought that, I'd really like to see him on a 450 just because of his size and everything. I know he's probably got a couple more years here, but I really think that that 450 is going to suit his riding style.
There's a couple guys, Look at Malcolm Stewart. Look at Tyler Bowers. Look at Arno Tonis. Those guys are going to be beasts on 450s.
Yeah. I always said that, we're getting a chance now to look at 64.
Dakota Alex.
Yeah, Dakota Alex there.
One of the younger talents in our 250 Eastern Division class. 36, Justin Hill had a tough crash right there in the Dragonback the first time they were on the track.
This is kind of a year where you're going to have to see Justin Hill come out fighting.
He's fast. He's a tough kid. Him and his brother are both tough kids. I really like the Hill brothers. Always had a lot of respect for Josh. Still do have a lot of respect for Josh. He's still one of the baddest dudes on a dirt bike anywhere you want to go.
Well, and he's working for Monster now.
Yeah,
like we had Andrew Short on the show.
Monster
what do you do after your career? Well, Josh Hill after his career.
And we'll get him on the show here in a couple weeks and talk to Josh and make sure see how things are going with him. How's Malcolm's? There you go. There's the old Stewart scrub. And Bubba invented that. Some of the older timers guys say JoJo Keller invented it, but Bubba kind of made it popular. I think Malcolm can scrub harder than James can.
Well, look at that last time Malcolm went in. You saw Aaron Plessinger blitz through him. You saw Malcolm jump through him. And as the night wears on, you're going to have to jump through him. You're not going to be able to blitz him. Martin, no, is that no?
48, I think that is right there. If I can see the number, we'll get a
Luke. No, that's not 48, is it? Oh, I know it's a Kawasaki. And I know Luke rides a Yamaha, so it's not 40.
Anthony Rodriguez.
There you go,
yeah,
A-Rod.
48. A-Rod. On a new ride there. Traders Racing Kawasaki.
Sitting down in 20th right now with a 59.2, so they'll have to pick it up, Anthony.
As Plessinger tries to get to the top of the board again, but hey, look who jumped up there. Malcolm Stewart, followed by Tyler Bowers, Arno Tonis, Plessinger, and Davalos, the top 5 so far.
I'm surprised. We talked about Jeremy Martin sitting down in 6th spot, the number 6, with a 49.3. Martin Davalos in that 5th spot with a 49.2. Oh,
Jeremy's down. That's Calamity Corner right there. That sand's really deep. That Dragonback's really technical. That's gonna be one of the parts of the track that could make or break a main event tonight. Whoever gets through there for 15 laps and 20 laps the smoothest and without problems.
Well, the other thing you got to remember too is if you're running second behind someone, you don't want to follow the leader into there, because if he makes a mistake, you're going to
run right into it.
Yeah. Hill. I was looking for
nice
his
style from Justin Hill standing up through the sand section, just like you were talking about earlier, Jim. You think that technique works way better?
Yeah, I think it's better control on the motorcycle.
Justin's definitely on a heater here. Looks fast. Good corner.
I didn't get a chance during the track walkers. We're looking at Arno Tonis
who
now.
just jumped to the top of the board. Watch out for that guy. He got sick last year, but you know, at the opening round last year in Arlington, I was watching him in practice, and I talked to Jim Bones Bacon, their suspension tech. I was like, hey, you guys got a fast guy. Who is this guy? This guy can ride Supercross unbelievably well.
Yeah, and coming from Switzerland, you know, they're not known for riding their Supercrosses. It's usually the French riders.
This guy can.
He probably rode a lot over in France when he was riding small bikes.
48 flat. Malcolm Stewart with another 48 flat, so literally thousandths of a second faster.
Yes, we just got a chance to look at Malcolm Stewart there, go around Arno Tonis. Malcolm looks like he's on a heater. Let's see if he can bump up. And he just does
yes, he does.
Yeah, 47.9. Woo! It's getting good on this East Coast. Jeremy Martin now jumps up to third with a 48.1. So
this is a stacked coast right here. Malcolm Stewart, Arno Tonis, Jeremy Martin, Tyler Bowers, Justin Hill, Plessinger, Davalos, Daniel Hairline. As we talk him up, he goes down, but just a simple mistake.
In that sand section again. You know, one other thing I was going to ask you, Andy, did you get a chance to go down and talk to the Troy Lee KTM team? I don't see on the board Hill's teammate Shane McElrath. I thought
he was out there in the first, he's right there in 9th place.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
he
just hasn't, no camera time yet, but if he kicks it up into the top 5, I'm sure that'll change.
Well, he's coming off that horrible wrist injury that he had earlier in the season.
Malcolm Stewart, he seemed fired up. We talked to him on track walk, and you know, he had a big smile on his face like he always does. Said he's been working hard. I mean, all these guys say they're working hard, but Malcolm said he's been putting in the laps. He looked lean. Looks like he's lost a little bit of weight. You know, he's definitely one of the bigger guys on a 250F.
Well, and he talked about it when you were talking with him about him and Tyler Bowers being the bigger guys out there, how hard it is to get a start.
Yeah, look at the style of Tonis, though. Wow. There's that section that bit him. I bet you he gets through there just fine this time. Not quite.
Malcolm going to jump in right behind him and say, let's see what this...
see what you got.
Yeah. He's not going to let him see what he's got. Malcolm looks like he might be trying to better his time from that 47.9 there. He was looks aggressive out there when he went around Tonis.
He looks good. He looks phenomenal. You know, Malcolm Stewart. What a big win this would be. He said he has his family's here, a lot of his friends. Stewart's like racing in the Georgia Dome. It was funny because I told him this dirt looks a lot, kind of similar to the stuff you ride on. He's like, I don't care about the dirt. I don't care what kind it is. I'm ready to win.
Well, how about this? How about a 47.4?
So, over a half a second faster than the field right now, Malcolm Stewart.
Yeah, he looked like he was going for it. Now, you know, I'm noticing a lot of the guys aren't swinging around, leaving the door open, going over the finish line. They're going to that inside line there as Martin now comes over the finish line. Let's see what his time, if he can bump up. And Martin bumps up with a 47.5 now.
Good lap for
Jeremy Martin.
Very good lap for Jeremy.
Just like the West Coast, we're going to see these times
jump around.
Yep, and we only have about a minute left in this first qualifying in the 250A group.
Tonis. You know, I know we don't do fantasy for 250 class, but if we did, I'm going to put Tonis on my podium.
Yeah, it looks like Martin's trying something a little different in that rhythm section. You see that? And then he checked up. I think it worked for him. Now he's going to maybe try to put it together.
Time running out. Malcolm Stewart followed by Jeremy Martin, Arno Tonis, Aaron Plessinger, and Tyler Bowers are your top 5. Oh. Alexander Fry, the rookie.
Yeah, rookie going down in the whoops.
Yeah, down in the sand section there, pretty good, but he's okay. There's Dakota Alex. As time is ticking away. About 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Checkered flag will come out. Malcolm Stewart, 250 Group A, qualifying number 1. Kicks things off, throws down the gauntlet, says he's here to race, he's here to win. He kind of said that on track walk, and man, he just backed it up in a big way.
Yep.
Jeremy Martin only a 10th behind him though, so hanging right in there, super tough. Those two riders a half a second faster than Tonis. But Stewart's going to go down here and talk to Ashley Phillips. We'll see how he got that fast lap. His really fast lap, but there we go. So pretty cool, you know. Malcolm says he's doing it for his brother. You know, those guys are tight. You know, they ride together, they train together, and what a cool special thing it would be for a Stewart sweep. I know, you know, we don't want to put expectations on James yet. He's coming back from a concussion. That's a very serious injury. James wants to get up to speed. He wants to put 20 laps in and finish this race, but I'm not counting him out. It's James Stewart. You know, he's one of the most electrifying riders we've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's not out of the question. I mean, it could happen, but I think it might happen later on, you know, like Indy or something like that, or St. Louis, you know, one of those events.
What about Malcolm?
Oh, for sure, Malcolm. He can win here tonight. You know, remember when he won his first last year on that West Coast in Oakland? He was all happy and excited and everything, and we haven't seen him in a while, so we'll see what happens.
What about Jeremy Martin showing up there and being 1/10 off of being the fastest time?
The thing about it with that, the time's good, but we did see him go down in the sand in that qualifying section.
Everybody,
it's going to be
but
hard.
no, you're right. Jeremy did.
I mean, like we talked about, who's going to make a mistake is we see the 458 guys leaving the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. And
look who it is again.
Yeah, it's the same old guys right up front. They train together, they practice together, and they qualify together.
Yep. The Dunge. 23-point lead after 7 rounds. You know, coming into the season, we just thought we were going to have 5, 6, 7 different winners. We still have the potential to do, but Ryan Dungey showed up for the championship this year on his A game like we've never seen before. You know, didn't win the Monster Cup, and I kind of thought, well, you know, maybe he'll ease into this championship, find his groove. He was been aggressive from the first drop of the gate, and 4 wins. He hasn't finished worse than second, Jim.
No. And you got to remember that last year when he won the championship, this was a new motorcycle for these guys. This is the second year now.
It's gotten better.
So, yeah, it's gotten better for him, and you see it. I mean, he's a better rider.
Yeah, the bike's better. He's a better rider, more confidence.
I mean, look, he's just now, you know.
Triple-double there, no big deal.
Yeah, it's nothing. Anderson's probably scratching his head going, man, he's getting away from me already. And we just started this thing.
The Male Action Sports Athlete of the Year, the ESPY for Ryan Dungey. Yeah, that's big. That's big for everybody, including you and me, Jim Holly.
Well, in the Wheaties box, I mean, you know.
Wheaties box, right. Great ambassador for our sport.
Saw a lot of little kids today in the pit area. They have their Wheaties boxes. They're wanting to get it signed from Ryan Dungey.
Oh, no problem. They just steers right through there.
Well, and I think the thing about it is, you know, he grabbed a big handful. As soon as that thing started to knife, he grabbed a handful of throttle, and he's really trying to get low, get the power back on the ground.
These guys are aggressive. You know, this is their the beginning of their second lap, and pushing hard, blitzing the whoop sections, pushing the corners hard. Look at Marvin creeping into the picture there.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I saw the number 20, and all three of these guys practice together at the
little Baker's factory.
There's Marvin. See, Marvin, he's a crafty Frenchman. See how he goes that inside? He knows you don't have to go to the outside because the timing markers, like we talked about, it's halfway up the finish line. It's not at the top there. Good to see Will Hahn up there right behind these guys, kind of putting in a charge.
He's won here in Atlanta in the 250 class.
Oh, yeah.
Good corner by Will. Tough kid, man. I really like Will Hahn. Been through a lot of injuries, too many comebacks to count, and he's still out there cracking in the top 10, giving everything he can for Monster Energy Kawasaki. I expect him to, as the season grows long as he can stay healthy, he'll keep getting faster, he'll keep getting more confident, and yeah.
Yeah, I stand to be corrected, though. You know, earlier in the show we talked about Kenny Roczen never winning here in Atlanta. I forgot that Kenny Roczen won here on a KTM back in 2014. So all these guys have got wins here now. You look at Dungey last year and Reed last year because it's back-to-back. Then Ken Roczen, James Stewart, Dungey, Villapoto, Dungey, Stewart, Millsaps.
And coming to the set, a guy that just got off the track, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Tyler Bowers. Welcome to Race Day Live, man.
Hey, thanks a lot, dude.
Well, we've been talking all day about how gnarly the track is. How gnarly is it?
It's pretty gnarly. You know, that's what I was just talking to some of the guys about. Was you know, it's weird for me. I grew up on the East Coast, and I normally like all the ruts, and I'd love this track normally, and I really do. But I'm riding really tight today. You know, been riding and training on the West Coast in California. It's been like 90 degrees and super windy, and the tracks are just hard and concrete. So getting used to all the ruts and that tack in the dirt again is kind of hard.
Well, and you mentioned that, like you said, you're out west. You know, the bike seems to move around, but now you're fighting it. You got traction out there, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you made your debut here.
Yeah, actually, my debut, my rookie season in 2008. Yeah, this was my first race.
Yeah, I remember. I think you finished up fifth that night.
Yeah, fifth overall. Yeah, fifth for the night. And the main event was my rookie race, and it was a little bit overshadowed though because that was the night Canard won the first one. It was his rookie race as well, so Canard had won it, and I was the next best rookie sensation at the time. And then you know, a little bit further back or a little bit later on, Canard of course went to win the championship that year. Right.
So talking about comebacks and talking about Trey Canard, you're on a comeback of your own. You know, you had a little bit of back surgery, but now you're back up to speed. You feel strong. Tell us about your rehabilitation and how you got to this point.
It's been hectic, man. You know, I had the back injury last year. Tried to suffer through it for the whole season. Unfortunately, I couldn't tough it out any longer. That combined with I ended up with Epstein-Barr virus last year, so I was dealing with that. And yeah, so that was actually the biggest problem. It wasn't as gnarly as the back injury, but over time it just took longer to get rid of that. And so I just started riding about 2 months ago. Still trying to get the fitness back a little bit, but the speed came back pretty quick. I feel good on the bike, feel comfortable. You know, the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, the whole team over there, Bones and all the guys, we got the suspension dialed in early on, and I feel comfortable on the bike. It's just up to me to get the laps in.
Well, you look good. You're on the board, man.
We're getting a chance now to look at the split screen. We appreciate you coming up because normally you're watching the A guys, but you get a little bit different perspective now. You can watch them on the screen and everything, and you're watching riders right there, Weston Pike going through that sand section. How tough is that sand for you guys?
The sand is especially gnarly this weekend. Like normally the sand's pretty deep in the way it, and it's deep here too, but the kind of sand is normally like you can jump into it and you really sink, and so you get good traction, and you don't really have to sweat that your bike's set up for your hard pack Supercross where you have, you know, the stiffer front end and stuff, which is usually a bad thing in the sand. But yeah, normally it's so deep you can just dive into it and just, you know, rail it and throw a big roost and come out. But this weekend it's like it's deep, but it's hard to get. When you land in, you don't sink in as much. You know, you kind of stay on top, and a lot of guys are washing out, and there's not really a line forming. Right. They're luckily now there is starting to get a sort of a line forming, but for a while, I mean, you can see there's guys going everywhere in the sand there. So when you hit that dragon's back, which is hard enough, and you're diving into the sand, you really don't know where you're going because all the lines are squiggly, and you never know where your front tire is going to end up going. So you basically just land into it, pin it, and hope to hit the nice rut on the way out.
Absolutely, yeah. And just go ahead and help us call the 450A here as you're watching these guys go around.
Yeah, what are you looking for when you've been out there and you're getting a chance to watch these guys? What are you looking at, that can help you when you get back out there for your final qualifying session?
I think first off, you got to watch any of the French riders. Muskin and Purcell are so smart. You got to watch those guys. Canard is known for setting that fast lap and kind of sending it. So you want to watch Canard too, because he'll be the first guy to hit the big jumps. I believe he was the first guy to hit the triple after this whoop section here.
Faster the whoops.
So he's ripping through this. The whoops are almost gone completely now. The only hard thing about them now is that you'll get confident in them and you're going so fast every now and then before the turn you hit one that's not completely wore down yet and it bucks you over the bars or it kind of surprises you.
Well, right now it's Eli Tomac the fastest time, and he's got a 45.8.
Yeah. Top 5 Eli Tomac, Ryan Dungey, Trey Canard, Ken Roczen, and James Stewart, who's back, in the top 5. So that's good for James to jump up there on the board.
I think the biggest thing you're going to watch for with these guys is just the creativity. Like you can see, like Filthy Phil there. Nicoletti went a little bit lower in that corner. A lot of the ruts you're going to have to start mixing up there. There's a new rut coming on the very inside there. Stewart eventually will probably ride a wheelie all the way through that whoop section. There's a lot of different lines that are going to be forming. You can see in one of the sections we hit the big triple, and before we were double tripling into the corner, but there's just so many ruts through there now that you have to triple double to just avoid the ruts.
What I've been noticing is that last right-hander, I see a lot of guys going to the inside. They're not leaving that door open, because if you're racing down that starting line straightaway and you leave that door open, that's an opportunity for a pass.
Yeah, and I think right now, too, they're trying to set the fast lap, and if you can stay on the inside before the finish line there, if you're on a good lap and you're trying to wrap that one up, you basically cut the track by doing that. You can roll around after you cross the finish. But just like you said, my mechanic and I were talking during the track walk about, last lap or, maybe next to last lap, you have to protect the inside before the finish there. Hopefully there's nobody kind of dumb enough in the middle of the race where they try to block past you and then you both have to roll the finish and everybody jumps over you. It's usually a bad move. So hopefully everybody stays smart and everybody can just get through the laps. But towards the end of the race, there's going to be a couple block passes right before the finish for sure.
What do you think about Kenny Roczen, Tyler? He's won 2 out of the last 3. He's on a little bit of a roll right now. Do you think he can keep clicking them off?
Yeah, I think he feels good. The thing about Roczen, I think he's got that raw speed. He's definitely got the talent. Dungey's definitely the safe call. I think he's kind of running on confidence right now.
Yep.
But like you said, Roczen, after winning a couple, he's feeling confident too, and that goes a long way. So his bike's definitely working good. He works hard. So I think maybe he's just now feeling the groove. And I think on the East Coast too, a track like this, he's going to feel more comfortable. The little bit I raced in Germany, you can see there, they triple now to avoid all those ruts.
Right.
The little bit I raced in Germany, I did a little Supercross series over there a couple years in a row. And the tracks get a lot like this. They're just blown out. And I know Kenny has ridden those on mini bikes and stuff like that, so I think this track might fit him pretty well.
How about the veteran Chad Reed? What do you expect from him tonight?
Chad's surprising me a lot this year in general, you know what I mean? Chad, last year, it seemed like he was kind of non-existent for a while, and then he busts out the win here last year in Georgia out of nowhere, you know what I mean? And then, kind of was... I was going to say non-existent, but that's around 9th place usually, which is really good, you know what I mean? But you don't hear much of, the guys are past 5th place. So, and this year he just seems to be running up front all the time. He feels really comfortable, I'm sure. I think he's a veteran, you know what I mean? He knows how this track's going to decay. He knows he can ride fast on this stuff, but not go down and not give away the race.
Yeah, it's going to take, everybody's going to make a mistake. I don't care if you're winning this main event here tonight. You're going to make a mistake out there in 15 or 20 laps if you're riding a 450.
Yeah. As I said before, especially on a 450, this track, you start getting whiskey throttle and stuff like that. You'll get going fast in somewhere like the whoops, or you're feeling confident, and the next thing you know, one of those edges or one of the ruts kind of reaches up and bites you.
On this tacky dirt, yeah. Well, the checker flag is out, and Ryan Dungey, the fastest, with a 45.7, followed by Eli Tomac, a 45.8, Trey Canard, Ken Roczen, and Jason Anderson are your top 5. James Stewart ends up that session in 8th place. Chad Reed picks it up to 14th, but what more can you say about Ryan Dungey again, Just kind of systematically waited until he found his space and found his lap. And, Tomac, it's good to see Eli up there in the top in qualifying. I thought he had a little bit of momentum when he got that podium a couple weeks ago. But now it looks like he's riding better. Maybe he's made some gains on the bike, and maybe he's just physically getting stronger, and you can vouch for that. It takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think Eli is actually surprising me. A lot of people are disappointed on the start of his year so far, but after his injury, I think he only got about the same time as I did on the bike, about 2-3 months tops, to get ready for a 450 class, which is even more stacked and even more laps. So he's already really impressing me, and I think this year he's starting to come into it. He's kind of getting into, he's racing himself into shape at this point, and getting the experience under his belt. I think he's just been kind of playing it safe and knows it's a long series, and he might be a surprise tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what are you going to do? Did you pick up some lines here watching here on Race Day Live?
Yeah, a few. There's definitely, for my class, the lights class right now, there's not a lot of guys doing anything different, the triples and stuff like that. So I know what I need to do. I just need to connect my laps a little bit better. I think there's nothing big and surprising out there. I just need to look further ahead. I'm riding really tight right now, staring at my front tire, and you can't do that.
You still look pretty good. You're up on the board. You're 5th fastest, and you're right out of there. So loosen up. Concentrate on that start tonight, Tyler. And thank you for coming on Race Day Live.
Thank you.
Good luck tonight, Tyler. Thanks for coming up.
Right on. We've got a lot more coming up on Race Day Live. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. AMSOIL. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose AMSOIL synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha. From world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
Consistent clutch feel is vital to effective starts or to confidently maneuver around obstacles on the trail. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil was subjected to an extreme simulated start test. After 32 simulated race starts, AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil continued to deliver consistent clutch feel, and the clutch plates remain clean with no visible wear. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil. Out front performance.
We're for guys who like to make things go faster, higher, farther. Guys who want to be the top tech, get the W, and stand on the podium. Teams want you. Riders need you. Because without you, the bike stays in the pit, and championships aren't won. Top motorcycle manufacturers help build MMI's programs so you can get the education you need to achieve success. That's why top teams hire MMI grads. We're for success. Your success. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. To learn more, visit mmitech.edu.
I just woke up one day and it clicked, and I'm like, I'm not just going to be someone that rode a dirt bike and that tried. I'm going to become the best. To be the best, it takes sacrifice, it takes a dream and a drive.
Striving to be the best, it's super critical to have a strong team behind you and a strong motorcycle. Being the best is everything, that's what you want. It's where you want to be.
It all just comes down to how much passion you have for the sport.
Bike is everything to be the best.
Never give up. Chase your dream, and if you work hard now and you sacrifice and you do what you're supposed to do, you can live the rest of your life as a champion.
The Yamaha Champion YZ450F and multi-champion YZ250F.
Rainbow Studios. Are you ready for more? MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore. The off-road legend returns with the next generation of graphics. Set yourself up with all new gear and bikes. Tear up the track in Outdoor Nationals and Waypoint races. Meet up and explore in freeride. And for the first time ever, Rhythm Racing. Available now.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
And welcome back to Race Day Live inside the Georgia Dome. On track right now, 450B qualifying number 1.
Yeah, and old Tommy Hahn looks like he's putting in the fast lap with a 49.4. Right behind him, making his debut this year on the 450, Kyle Cunningham.
I think that's Pulley right there. Tommy Hahn, yeah. You know.
Wow, hang on to it.
Yeah, he's a little bit out of control right now. But we want to thank Tyler Bowers for coming on Race Day Live. It's a tough schedule for those guys to come up and do it. So thank him. You know, I really want to thank him for joining us.
Well, yeah, and Snowman for retrieving him for us.
You know, that's a snow cart and getting him up here.
Yeah, that's a long hop.
There's Tommy Hahn, fastest in 450B qualifying number 1 so far.
Been interesting to watch him and his brother come through some of those semis and last chances. They're battling back and forth each other.
I think Tommy missed the main last weekend. Just kind of, you know, if you need to get in out of the heat race or those semis, because the 450 last chance qualifier is a hornet's nest. It's just really tough, especially when you get some big names that drop out of there.
And Tommy right now sitting 22nd in the points there, just behind Barsha. They both got 16. So, and Phil Nicoletti's got 17. Brock Tickle's got 17. Bogle's got 18. Dean Wilson's got 18. Vince Freeze 26, sitting in 16. So he can make up some time here tonight. Jeff Alessi right there, yeah.
A little under 3 minutes to go. It is Tommy Hahn, Alex Ray, Kyle Cunningham, Cade Clayson, and Nicholas Schmidt rounding out the top 5.
And you look at Devin Raper back there. He's made his first main event last weekend. Devin finishing up in 20th. Good to see him get into that main event last weekend. I know he's been, you know, struggling hard, but it's always nice and rewarding if you can get into
those main events. That 450 main event, anytime you can get into it, that's special. So good for Devin Raper. Tony Archer there, number 70.
Yeah, good to see Tony out here.
Traders Racing Kawasaki, Tony Archer. It's about 2 minutes to go. 450B qualifying number 1. It's a man's track tonight, Jim Holly. It's now we aren't even to tonight yet, but it's already a man's track halfway through qualifying, and you know it's starting to dry out. The more and more they work on it, you know, each time they go out there, they're going to make it better.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to be
like
in
the
shape.
wall jump. You know, it's still got a little bit of ruts in it, but it's not as bad as it was the first practice.
No, and you're seeing some ruts starting to develop when they come out of the corners, and Tommy Hahn looking over at his mechanic and getting the signboard. He knows he's up on top of the board. Good to see Alex Ray up there mixing it up.
Tony Archer in your screen again right now. Traders Kawasaki.
Yeah, not too bad, sitting in 8th right now in the points with a 51.7. That'll get him in. There's Kyle Cunningham making his debut that we talked about on the Suzuki right there on the 450. Hang on to it, Kyle.
Yeah. You know, Kyle's riding style, it always, he has a really straight back. You see right there. It's very, very upright. It's always been that way. But definitely a lot of speed, a lot of talent. Oh, man. Might want to click the rebound down a little bit on that shock. Looks like it's springing back on him pretty fast. A lot of talent, a lot of speed, lots of a lot of potential. If he gets in the main event, he's a guy that can mix things up.
Yeah, he's on a heater right now. He's sitting, third, 48.9. I know he wants to take a few tenths of it. Let's see if he can do it here as he hits that wall jump. And
much better trip through the whoops that time. Kind of stood up in the corner a little bit, but not too bad.
Probably loving the power.
Yeah. Let's see if he jumps up. Does jump up a little bit.
Yeah, 48.7 now.
Jumps
so
up to second.
Yeah.
Checkered flag is out. So Tommy Hahn with a 48.6, the fastest in 450B qualifying number 1, followed by Kyle Cunningham, Alex Ray, Cade Clayson, Nicholas Schmidt. That's going to do it. Pretty good practice session right there. Not too many yellow flags. We'd like to see that.
Chad Cook down there sitting in 12th. Not a bad. Bryce Stewart just ahead of him. Kyle White.
I think Bryce Stewart got in the main event.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He's got one main event this year, Bryce Stewart there. And
Glendale, wasn't it?
Yep, Glendale, Arizona for Bryce. Canyon Lake, California.
That's going to do it. 450B qualifying number 1. We're here in the Georgia Dome, and I always get excited for this race. This is one of the biggest Supercrosses of the year. We're 8 rounds into this thing, but Atlanta's special. We go back to 1989 and 1990 with those battles with Ricky Johnson and Guy Cooper and Jeff Ward doing the triple fist pump and stuff. That was back in the old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. That was Damon Bradshaw, Mike Kudrowski. I think all those guys that led a lap at one point. Johnny O'Mara.
Yeah, we've been here in this stadium for since 1993. And I remember some of those coming here doing the broadcast. 71,000 in this for Supercross. We could have that tonight here. Let's hope. Because it is the start of that East Coast here. Right. It looks. This is one of the when you hit here and everybody's back here, everybody rides a motorcycle. In Florida and Georgia, you can pull from all directions to get guys in coming here. But hope tonight we can have 71,000. We only got one more year here.
Right.
Next year we're going to be one of the last
the Mercedes
events here.
Right.
Then we're moving over. We're just
brand new
right across the street.
So
not even the street, right next to it.
Right. No, and it looks amazing. The facility that they're building next to this is just. It's incredible, the 3D image of it. But I want to talk about what we're doing here tonight. I always call it the Battle of Atlanta. I think it's the part of the season where the transition from the West Coast swing to the East Coast, the championship's getting tight. Roczen's on a roll. All the things, all these ingredients are kind of boiling together to make something really special tonight. It's a tough track. James Stewart's back. Chad Reed won this thing last year. We got Cole Seeley, Jason Anderson, Eli Tomac, Ryan Dungey, Jason Anderson. It's going to be good tonight.
And we got another guy right there on the Kawasaki, number 86, AJ Catanzaro, making his debut here in 2016. I know that Mark Siegel helping him out a little bit, and Pat over at the Moto VIP and everything, and they're kind of working on that bike last night, putting the finishing touches on. So we'll see AJ Catanzaro. He looks good. See if he can get that bike into the main event tonight.
Interesting story last year. He got his bike stolen, and through social media, they were able to get it back. The guy that stole it said, hey, check me out with my new bike, and then they went and checked him out with the cops and got his bike back. Yeah. Another interesting story, Jim Hawley. I was down in the pits, and his muffler contract didn't come through.
Right.
And he comes up to me and his mechanic's like, hey, man, I'm in big trouble. I can't pass tech with my stock silencer. I need some help. And I happened to be sitting next to Mr. Mitch Payton. I said, Mitch, AJ here needs a little bit of help. Can you help him out? And he said, absolutely. Next thing you know, Jim snaps his fingers. We didn't snap his fingers. We got one of his crew members to bring him a pipe.
Probably pointed. He probably pointed and said,
yeah,
hey,
pretty much.
Hook this guy up.
Get him a pipe. Get him a muffler. So he got him on track. So just cool how our community works in Supercross, and everybody helps each other out. And good to see Mitch Payton helping out the privateers. He of course wanted to see if he was on a Kawasaki, and it was just, I like it when stuff like that happens. It makes you feel good.
Good to see Todd Bannister out there. We haven't seen him in a while. Sitting third right now with a 54.6, so good to see him out there.
Right. Catanzaro leading him around. He's about a second and a half faster. Johnny Bueller, Todd Bannister, John Greco, Jeffrey Muirs rounding out the top 5.
This is always good. You remember last weekend when we were in Arlington, we only had, in the 250, there was only B and C, but we got A, B, and C here in the 450 and the 250. A lot more bikes, a lot more riders here.
KTM Junior Supercross Challenge. NASCAR Whole Shot Challenge presented by Oakley. Got a lot of things going on tonight, Jim Holly.
Look at the cat, AJ Catanzaro,
hey,
man, he's
good.
on it.
Yeah, I've been watching him over our shoulder when the camera wasn't on him, and looks really smooth. Triple double there.
I like how he stands up, waits the pegs going around that corner, because there's no sense in sitting down. You just got to stand up when you hit that wall jump again.
Pretty good left-handed corner
there. He's on it. Let's see if he can pick up 51.7. Let's see if he can better that time.
49.
49.7.
49.7.
Took 2 seconds off.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
You could tell it was a good lap. It looked like a good lap. Once again, well, I thank everybody for tuning in to Race Day Live. It's round 8 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. The beginning, the onset of the 250 Eastern Divisional Supercross Championship. The 250 East is stacked. As you watch number 976 into your screen here, that's Josh Greco. Whoa, a little bit of traffic there.
Yeah, I was going to say, a little bit of traffic for him. You notice the hand. You see how he took it off, kind of
shaking out a little arm pump.
Yeah, he's starting to get a little stiff right there in that left hand. You're going to take it easy this lap, Mr. Greco. He says, I'm just going to kind of roll things, collect my thoughts, which is a good thing. Got to remember, a lot of these guys in this, they weren't out west with us. They're East Coast guys, so this is kind of their first start of the season.
Yeah.
They got the nerves going and everything. And now it looks like he might start on another heater.
Look at the crowd starting to pour in. I like seeing that. People are coming out here to watch practice, watch qualifying. I think we're going to have a huge crowd tonight. Might be a little shy of a sellout, but a huge crowd nonetheless. And it's not just a big crowd, it's a loud crowd. These fans love their Supercross, and Supercross loves them. I think the riders put a little bit extra out there on the track, and that's why that's why the Battle of Atlanta happens. As AJ Catanzaro, 3 seconds faster than the field. Look for him tonight to be in that main event. He looks that good. Super assertive on the bike, look confident, fast in the whoops.
Well, the thing about him, when I talked to him a little bit earlier today, he said, hey, I just want to, I really want to stay out of that last chance race.
Yes, he does.
I really want to qualify in this semi. I want to get a good start and finish up in that top 5. And he knows that realistically, 4 or 5 of the top guys go down the heat race, and maybe I got a shot at the heat race, but he's looking at the semi. He wants to transfer directly out of that semi.
They take 5, exactly. Yeah, that's how our qualification.
I think he can do it. I mean, I'm just looking at his time. I'm trying to remember what Tommy's was at the top of the B class. Was he into the 48s or? Yeah, so he's just a little bit off of that.
AJ Catanzaro, yeah, number 86.
Some of those sand sections now starting to get some lines in there. We're getting a chance to look at AJ again.
Looking good. It still amazes me they can get on and off those tabletops with no lift. I went and walked the track, and I was like, man. I mean, I know it can be done, but just the willingness that it takes to preload that 450 from that other tabletop to the other one, because the chance for error and the penalty for error is pretty high.
I mean, AJ might be on another heater. Let's go. He's going to go to that inside, that right-hander. Let's see if he can better that 49.7 and
49.2.
49.2.
Dropped a half a second off of it.
Yeah,
I think Hahn was a 48. I think, but AJ's looking real good right there as we're watching our friend trying to get a number on him.
But not a bad time for AJ. Like I said, the top qualifiers, Dungey with a 45.7 and then 45.8 for Eli and a 45.9 for Canard. So, I mean, wow.
That's Jared Hicks in your screen, number 517. Out there trying to put a good lap in.
Jared Hicks
from Alabama.
Yeah, sitting in 15th right now with a 107. So, come on, Jared, you got to pick it up.
He lists Backyard Designs, ASPS, Advanced Dynamics, Moose, Alpine Stars, Oakley, and Dunlop as his sponsors. Looks like Jeffrey Muir's there, number 630. I think, Jim, back up your statement about these guys being a little tight. They haven't ridden Supercross for 7 weeks like the rest of the crew has. You can build a practice track, you can ride as much as you want. When you get out there with everybody on a Monster Energy Supercross track, things are different.
Yep, you always manage to hold on a little tighter. You always manage to forget to breathe.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that you can't duplicate that when you're out on the track.
I remember, I only rode 3 Supercrosses in my short career, and I practiced and practiced and practiced, but for some reason when I got out there, Jim, I rode 3 laps and pulled in, and Dad's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I can't feel my hands."
And it's not like you weren't putting in the time during the week, riding laps and everything. It's just a whole different ball game.
It's a totally different ball game.
And I think that's why that the Feld Motorsports Group, you're going to have to go to the AMSOIL Arena Cross, to the road to Ricky Carmichael, to kind of get you used to that feeling.
Yeah.
They got good crowds in the AMSOIL Arena Cross, and you got good battling. You're always, there's no time to rest out there. So, I think it's a good thing you got to go through that program to get, your feet wet before you come here.
Right, yeah, get your feet wet, get used to traveling, get used to being in different cities and being on the road. The AMSOIL Arena Cross Series, and Ricky Carmichael Road to Supercross, I definitely believe in. And, it's getting proved time and time again that it's really working out. You look at Aaron Plessinger, you look at Austin Faulkner, you look at Chase Sexton, some of the, Benny Bloss, who's come through there, who's riding with us tonight. It's proof positive that, it kind of prepares those guys for the next level. It's not a Supercross track.
Well, and Vicky Golden, she also had to come
earned
through.
her points through there, right?
Yep.
The AMSOIL Arena Cross Series, the championship, has a week off this weekend. Then they'll return to Omaha. Whoa! Time running out. 3, 2, 1. That checkered flag will come out on 450C, qualifying number 1. AJ Catanzaro, a 48.8. So he dropped his time again. A 48.8 followed by, that's Michael, they didn't finish his name there. Then Johnny Bueller, Johnny Greco, and Jake Menike.
I'm going to write that time down for AJ. I'm just curious on where he's going to, if he was in that B group in the 450, where he would stack up against Kyle Cunningham, Tommy Hahn, those guys. Write that down and see what they do the next one out.
Absolutely. Good ride by AJ Catanzaro. Pretty cool story there, getting to borrow a pipe from Mitch Payton. I think Mitch is going to go ahead and let him have it, I think maybe, but he said he could borrow it. But it's
well,
cool.
Here's the thing. If I'm Mitch, I'm going to tell the guy, tell you what, here's the deal. It costs this much. If you get the bike in the main event, it's free.
There you go.
You got to give them a little bonus, a little drive to get in there and earn that pipe,
Absolutely.
So we'll see.
Well, we have a lot more of the show coming up, including Clark Stiles from Dunlop, the tire tester. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
AMSOIL. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose AMSOIL synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
Getting out in front on the racetrack or on the trail requires every performance edge you can get. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil is formulated to maximize horsepower. Its synthetic base oils reduce energy loss to friction, meaning your engine works less to deliver more power to the ground, helping you get out front and stay out front. AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil. Out front performance.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute invites you to text SX to 82257. Enter for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4 LE. Again, text SX to 82257 for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4 LE.
Everything you thought you knew about off-road vehicles is about to be redefined. Introducing the world's first and only pure sport side-by-side, the all-new YXZ 1000R from Yamaha. With a high-performance 3-cylinder engine, 5-speed sequential shifting, and long-travel Fox suspension, the world of off-road sports side-by-sides has shifted forever.
Get ready for RM Fantasy SX, the ultimate Monster Energy Supercross Fantasy Challenge from RockyMountainATVMC.com. We're giving away over $100,000 in prizes, and it's completely free to enter. Top season prizes include a brand new 2016 Toyota Tacoma, round-trip tickets with hotel to fly you and a guest to Rocky Mountain ATVMC to pick up your brand new customized FMF, KX450M, or KX250M. There's also a VIP trip for two to see the 2016 Monster Energy Cup in Las Vegas. 4th through 10th place season winners will be awarded prizes from Pirelli, GGR, Dunlop, Alpine Stars, DC, and others. Weekly prizes will be awarded from major brands. Just sign up on our secure game site, make your picks, and even get into group play to get your game on. And for more details, sign up today at rmfantasysx.com for ages 18 and older.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
And welcome back to Race Day Live in the Georgia Dome. It's round 8 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship. We have the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge guys on the track. And joining us right now is Clark Stiles, Dunlop test rider. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Good to see you guys.
Well, wait a minute. I know him as Clark Stiles, the old Supercross rider back in the early 2000s, man. You had some good finishes. You had some top 10s, I think some 6, 7s, and 8s and stuff.
Yeah, I had a good run. Sure did. Yeah.
You enjoy working for Dunlop now?
I do. I can't complain. Like I said, one of the key factors for me was stop traveling so much, stay at home. I had my little girl on the way, so that was a big factor in that.
Nice.
Cool. Well, of course, on track right now with the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge. The little guys are out there. I mean, I don't know when you started, but I started when I was this size, and it's
definitely not. I was 16 before I ever got a motocross bike. So.
Well, you can see these guys struggling right here in the sand section, but you know, these guys are good riders, and the guy that won last weekend was quite amazing. You know, did a dance and stuff. It was pretty cool. We'll show that in a little bit, but you know, Clark, you do a lot of riding. If you're a tire tester, they're only going to hire somebody that knows how to throw a leg over and stay on the bike for a long time. So
sure.
How are that? Your hands are obviously pretty tough. No blisters or nothing, man?
From time to time we do. But you know what? That was all part of it. I was at an age to where they were at a point to where they needed another test rider. We had that much work, and I was at a point in my career to where I was old enough to kind of know what was going on, but not the young, full-on racer still. So it just worked out. It worked out perfect.
That's
well,
awesome.
the other thing I remember, an old teammate of mine, Yamaha, Brock Glover, he now works at Dunlop, but before he got in, he was actually doing a lot of the testing and things like that. But you not only ride motocross bikes, but I mean, you have everything down there. You got side-by-sides, you got road bikes that you get a chance to go out on, so it's all different types of terrain, and it doesn't matter if it's hard packs, muddy. I mean, they probably call up, hey, Clark, it's pouring rain today, let's go out riding. Really? Okay, great, I get to ruin someone else's equipment.
There's a lot of that. We have 80 acres, and 40 of that in the back is Supercross, woods course, motocross track. Got everything, probably close to 40 motorcycles there at the proving grounds, and you know, just depending on what we're looking for, what test coming up will be the deciding factor on which bike we ride. And yeah, we've got equipment there. If we need it muddy, I can water the track. If we need certain jump, I can build it. Tractor, we've got it. We can test and develop anything.
Is there any like the top riders here, like the Dungeys and those guys? Any of those guys ever come down there?
They do. They sure do. A lot of times before the East Coast, those guys will come and ride. I think the last guy was Trey Canard. When he was with Geico, he came and they were getting ready to try to put some laps in and get ready for the East Coast.
Getting a chance to watch some of the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge. And Andy, what was that guy's name? You remember his name last week? The one he got the bike down?
It escapes me right now. I think his name was Jaden Palmer. So he won it with a one-hander and then goes and does an awesome dance. We're going to roll that footage right now and check it out. It was really, really, really cool.
It's all done. Boy, Jaden did a great job on the bike. I think he did a better job once he got off of it, though. Check it out. Dancing, doing the nay-nay. He's all over it.
James Stewart made it. Hey, when he won here one time, he did the sprint. He says, I ain't got nothing for that kid.
You know, it was amazing. We ran that on our social media on supercrosslive.com, and over 1 million views on Jaden Palmer doing that move right there. So, you know, it's pretty amazing. I hope, it was really cool for me personally, because when I left the stadium last weekend, I noticed he was in front of me, and I said, what's your name? He said, Jaden Palmer. And I was like, hey, you're
the man.
I want your autograph. You are the man.
One day. Hey, these guys amaze me. Yeah. This track, I know firsthand. Of course, you do too, Jim, how nasty the track gets. And those little bikes, God.
I couldn't imagine that these little guys, dealing with that sand. I mean, you see the best supercrossers in the world, and they're having a problem in the sand. And these guys got through it pretty good. A couple of them had a couple little tip overs behind us. But, I got to ask you, you're always developing new tires. And, when I was at Anaheim, I have a couple Japanese guys. I had to get some tires and stuff. And I noticed that they changed the name on the MX-32. It's now an MX 3S, correct?
Right, correct.
Yeah.
Yep, they're just to avoid conflict with another manufacturer, we changed the name MX3S, and that's front and rear. So,
and I talked to Brian Fleck on that tire when it first came out, and I was riding it. He says, "Oh, everybody's using this tire," and I was out riding it in, and it just didn't feel right, And I was running 14 pounds because I think I might have been in the desert, and I don't want to get a flat. I hate changing tires and all that stuff. But he said, "Hey, if you drop that down, to 12." You'll notice the difference, and I did. And I just said, "Wow, man, it's amazing that just that little bit of air pressure." And you play with it all the time. I'm sure they say, "Hey, Clark, let's pump this thing up to 16 pounds. Let's bring it down to 11." You're all over, and you have to do a lot of paperwork and logging on and things.
Yep, that's actually the majority of the job. The riding's the easy part and the small part. The rest of it is going back and forth with the engineers. Doing your reports and just helping develop.
Now let me ask you this: you get a chance to go over to Japan and test over there, because I know a lot of the engineers are over there and different compounds and things like that.
Yes, we have. It's been a while since we've been. I think 2008 maybe the last time I went over there, but I went and spent a couple weeks and tested with they have a test rider as well, and we put a lot of laps in Japan. Sure do.
So we have some footage of you in action we want to take a look at here. So there you go.
This is our woods course at the Dunlop Proving Grounds in Huntsville.
Huntsville, it looks like there's a train track running back behind
there. It is.
There.
That's from the factory used to be right next door.
Oh, okay.
And they would, train tracks run in and out of there.
Oh, nice. It looks like a great facility to ride on.
It is. It's unbelievable.
Can Andy and I come down and ride a little bit? You got all the bikes. Let's go,
like
Andy.
Absolutely.
Sign me up.
Now you'll have a KTM, and then you'll ride Kawasaki, Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, every manufacturer pretty much to get different things.
We do. We don't just stick to one brand. We try to have a variety, make sure what we're developing works on all brands, and it just helps out. We can ride everything, and it keeps me up to date with the newest equipment and what works best for me for testing.
Right. Well, speaking of testing and speaking of doing all this work and going through all these tires, do you have to change these things yourself? Or do you have?
No. I have changed plenty of tires in my day, but since coming here, absolutely not. I maybe 2 or 3 I've changed.
Well, that's the thing about Japan. You know, I got to commend the Japanese, because when I was riding for Yamaha in the factory, we would go over there and we'd set our bikes up and we'd test over there on the tracks, and then we would get here and they just wouldn't work.
Sure.
We're going, oh my God, this thing's not working. What happened, you know? And same way with tires. You get over there and your tire, it's blue groove, hard, dry over there,
right.
And you get them over here, and where you selling most of your tires are in North America, you know?
Sure.
So you got to develop the tires that work not only here in Japan, Australia, all over the world, though.
Right, yep, for sure. And our MX3S is kind of that tire you're talking about, where it will work here, there, a little bit everywhere. Matter of fact, the guys, that's the tire of choice for the pro guys as well.
I got to be honest, Clark. I'm an MX52 guy.
Okay.
Even though I did test that, I'm just, you know, it's a little bit. I'm a California kid, you know.
Okay,
I'm Los Angeles,
makes
so
sense.
it's just that 52 seems to work a lot better for me. It lasts a lot longer.
Sure.
I like the 32. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I'm just, I think that I feel a little bit more comfortable, and I'm sure you deal with that with other riders out here. Some of the guys are probably running 52s, and hey, this 32 works better, but the guy feels a little bit more comfortable with a 52.
Right. Well, as you know, it's personal preference, and not one tire is going to work for everyone, and just could be the way you ride.
Yeah.
That particular feel
I
is
ride
better
slow
for you.
still. I ride slow still.
You know, that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you, the feedback from the professionals, and how much do you get, and how is there maybe some guys that are like, hey man, I want the sidewall to be softer, or you know.
Sure.
How is that feedback delivered to you guys, and how do you distribute it back?
Well, how it usually works is, you know, we do a huge chunk of the testing in Huntsville at the Proving Grounds, and then I will go to California or go somewhere and usually test with the factory guys, and then we just take my results from there, my results from wherever we are, their results, and then the engineers compile it, and you know, they go home, do their homework, and then come out with the next spec and starts all over again.
Cool. So that's how we ended up with these tires here on the set, right?
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
We have our own engineer, Snowman. He made our nice display here, and look at the Dunlop. This is a 120/80/19.
Hey, that's nice. Those were nice and new as well, weren't they?
See, we have the old one. We don't have the S. We have a 2.
Okay.
We don't have the S one.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little current events. You know,
sure.
It's a big race here. It's round 8. You know, Ken Roczen's won 2 out of the last 3 events, but Dungey still has a 23-point lead. Who are you looking at to get on the podium tonight?
It's tough. I tell you what, last weekend my heart was racing sitting on the couch at home. It's been a long time since I've watched a race and kind of, you know, felt like I was out there. I was nervous myself. So I don't know. I'm not really rooting for anyone. I just want to see a really good race like last weekend.
Like the Battle of Atlanta always produces. It always seems like this race just has a penchant for having barn burners. And,
sure.
You know, if any year is going to do it, I think tonight is going to be one of those nights.
Yep.
Yeah, I think especially in that 250 class, we're seeing these guys have been chomping at the bit for the last 7 weeks. They're getting a chance to start their series here. And, you know, you saw the qualifying times. Everybody's kind of stepping it up and pushing the limit now. And I think we're going to have a great race in that 250 class also.
I'm hoping so. I'm anxious to see. You know, the West Coast guys are hauling the mail. So I'm anxious to see what the East Coast guys are doing.
Well, look how deep the field is. You know, we had Tyler Bowers here on the show, his teammate Arnaud Tonas, Jeremy Martin, Aaron Plessinger, you know, Darren Durham, Malcolm Stewart, who was fastest in that first qualifying session, Martin Davalos, the class veteran.
Sure.
It's a deep class, and obviously this long start here is going to play a factor into that main event. And those Dunlop tires hooking up off that start, you know, are going to play a big factor into them getting the whole shot.
Oh, absolutely. I tell you what, the start's perfect for the MX3S we were talking about.
You don't want to ask you, Clark, as we're on the big screen now and all the fans here, this is Clark Stiles from Dunlop. He does all the research and development about 4 hours down here in Huntsville, Alabama. But I got to ask you, like a 250 production bike, he has a 100 on the rear of it.
Sure.
But a lot of these guys in the 250 class, they're running 120/80s on there, and they're running a bigger rim. They're running the 450 size rim, which is a 2.15.
Right.
I know, but I want to hear from you. Why are these guys running a bigger tire on that 250?
I think the equipment nowadays is so good. The motors are so strong, and the chassis and suspension, everything is so good that you can get away with running the bigger tire, even though it has a bigger footprint, more grip. the bikes are so good they can pull that big, that load, and it won't bog them down for some of these triples.
Okay, one other thing that I saw, and because I'm always, an old rider, and I look at things, and I looked at on the West Coast on Zach Osborne. He ran a 110, and I asked him specifically why he ran that 110, and he said, well, it kind of turns a little bit better.
Sure. Well, the 110 is a little, more narrow of a tire, and it will turn. And like we were talking about earlier, it's personal preference. Right. Some guys, they're okay with a little more grip and being a little bit more effort to get it to lean over, and other guys don't like that.
Right, Clark. Well, thank you for all your expertise and
Absolutely.
all your information, man. And,
good to see you.
Great. Thanks for letting me come on, guys.
Yeah, thank you. These guys have the best thing they can possibly have. Coming up, we have Kyle Chism.
Thank you.
Right now, we're going to have a little word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Cool.
Episode of Monster Energy Supercross, Chasing the Dream.
We want to be champions again. We'd be far more grateful than ever the champion that we were in 2004 and 2008.
We are a team, and we always have been, and I don't know any other way to be.
My results haven't been that great, but I feel like I've been riding good. But the most important part is for me that I'm having fun. I'm putting my heart into it, and that's ultimately what it's about for me.
We look for big things for him. He's not going to be happy with anything less than a championship.
This is when the nervousness starts to creep out. It's Judgment Day for the riders. It's what you dream of, man.
Hey, old man, just remember it goes right.
And we're back inside the Georgia Dome and Rocky Mountain ATV MCs. Kyle Chism's here on Race Day Live. Welcome to the show, Kyle.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good arm.
Yeah,
he's got to shake with the other one, that shoulder.
Yeah.
Man, you lost a lot of your muscle tone in the right arm there on that shoulder surgery. Where are you at? And give us an update.
I'm about 5 weeks out today from surgery. I'm looking at about another couple months before I can get back. I'm hoping to be back before the end of the Supercross season. Try to get the last couple, but for sure for the outdoor season, that's kind of the main goal. But I'd like to make it back for a couple of these Supercrosses. And just got out of the sling this week. I've been in the sling it's been 5 weeks. This week I'm out just doing rehab and getting that thing moving and going to start trying to put some muscle back on it here soon.
Well, you had a good start. You're on a good team. It was a cool organization with Rocky Mountain ATV MC getting behind you. You're on the Honda. I mean, I even saw you breaking in the Honda there at Tampa MX, and you had a smile on your face, and things were going good. And, tell us how good things were going. You had to feel good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Last year I had I wouldn't say a tough year. I had a good year, but I did it all on my own. I had my own team, and it was a lot of work and a lot of money to compete with these guys and to battle with those guys every weekend. So when I got the opportunity with the Rocky Mountain guys and the team, it was just kind of a no-brainer for me to be involved with a company like that and the support that they can do. And as much as they give back to the sport too, it's a great company that I'd like to be a part of in a way. You know what I mean? So it made sense for me to do it. It was a little bit late coming together, but I was out there getting used to the Honda. First time for me on a Honda, but the bike's awesome, the team's awesome, and just a bummer, man, to get hurt. But it's never a good timing, obviously, get hurt, but it's part of what we do. It's it sucks, but got to deal with it, get better, and get back out there as soon as I can.
Well, the thing that I like about your team with Ray Butts over there and everything is when you got injured, he automatically stepped up and he said, let's hire another guy, and he hired Adam Enticknap, and unfortunately Adam Enticknap broke his femur.
Bad luck too. That's what I mean. The guys are awesome. They're here, and I think everything they do is a positive. They do a lot for our sport, and just like you said, just the people that they are. They have good values and stuff that I would like I said, like to be a partner of, be a part of, is people that have similar views and everything what they want to do. So I got hurt, and then Adam got the call to fill in, and he's a good guy, good rider. Obviously gets good publicity too for, which is good for the sponsors and the team and everything like that. So really a bummer when he got hurt a couple weeks ago too. So now we don't have any riders out here tonight, which is a bummer for the team, but I think we'll get somebody out here pretty soon and get someone on the bike representing. But me and Adam are here this weekend doing autographs, and this race is pretty close to home for me. So had to make it up here for their first
Congratulations.
baby girl. So I'm like,
nice.
keep her in there for the day. I just flew up this morning and hang out for the day and be here at the race.
Well, you're here on race day live
Yeah,
in front. You're on the Jumbotron right now in front of all these people representing your sponsors. So you got to be happy about that.
Yeah.
But Kyle,
yeah,
you've had a really long career. You were successful in the amateur classes, won amateur national championships. You've traveled the world. You know, you have to be proud of your career.
Yeah, man. When you say it's been a long career, I think about it and I'm like, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. You know, it's like, I feel like I just started racing. I feel like my first race was yesterday.
Right.
I remember it, you know, like it was yesterday. And but it goes by quick, man. What we do, you guys know, every weekend, all year. We have an off season, but we're preparing for the season next year, you know. So it's just wide open. Time goes by fast, but having fun doing it, obviously. But yeah, when you look back, I think this is my 12th year as a professional, you know, racing. So it goes by quick, and you got to be thankful and make the most of the time while you have here. And as you guys know, it goes by quick. So yeah, just enjoying what I'm doing. I'm glad to be here. Happy to be a part of a good company with the Rocky Mountain guys, and yeah, just pumped to be here.
Right. And you mentioned that 12 years. I mean, are you looking like maybe I got a couple more in me? Maybe I got 5 more years? Where are you at?
You know, I would just like to keep racing as long as I'm competitive. If I'm not making main events or not being where I want to be, you know, it's not fun if you're out there not finishing where you want to be. But I'm 28 years old. I'm buddies with old Chad Reed. He's got a few years on me, so he's the old man of the class still. So I train and ride a lot with Chad at home, and so he's the old guy. I'm the young guy when we're practicing during the week. So I just want to stay healthy. Obviously, this is a bummer, but staying healthy is a big thing. And as long as I can be competitive, I want to race as long as I'm competitive. You know, as long as I'm enjoying it still and competitive.
Having fun.
You know, why? I figure why not? I can't do it forever. So as long as I can do it and be competitive, that's my plan.
Well, you know, a cool part of your team in Rocky Mountain ATV MC is fantasy, and I put a big effort into it this year. They're putting up a Toyota Tacoma.
Yes.
And let's do our second Rocky Mountain ATV fantasy segment here. I'll kick it off this time. You know, after watching practice, you know, I picked Ken Roczen the first time we had our fantasy thing. I'm going to stay with Ken Roczen. I think he's hungry right now. I think if him and Dungey start 1 and 2, he just has the eye of the tiger. You know, that's kind of a cheesy cliche, but you know what I'm saying. When you get that confidence, you get the grit in your teeth. I think Kenny has that right now, and Ryan Dungey's right there. I don't think he's going to finish any worse than second, just like he hasn't all year. Third place, Jason Anderson. Who do you got, Kyle?
Man, it's hard. The guys that you just said, it's hard to go against them. And like you said about Kenny, he's hungry, and you got to look at it from this standpoint too. Not that Ryan Dungey doesn't want to win, but he's got a pretty good points lead right now. He doesn't have to win. Where Roczen's kind of not necessarily up against the ropes at this point because there's still a lot of races left, but he's got to win. You know, he can't give up any more points. So that's a good point to make. And Tomac looked good in practice today too. I think he's due for a good weekend, and the track's going to be pretty gnarly. It looks like tonight with all the ruts. The dirt looks really soft. So, man, I might have to go with Eli and then Kenny and then Ryan after that. It's hard to go against those three, but I think that the start is a big part of where those guys are going to finish. But they come out together like that. Like I said, Eli looked really good in that first practice. So
how about your wild card in 13th place?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's probably the hardest one to nail down. I mean, you can kind of, you know, there's 5-6 guys that can win, you know, but here we see Will Hahn. They got this weekend for 13th in that wild card, which isn't a bad pick.
I think he's a good pick for that. You know, he's been riding good. He looked good in practice there too. He's on the board for a while, I think, and he might do better than that this weekend. But
I think so.
Man, this is just so you guys know. Obviously, I've been racing every year. I've never done the fantasy thing with racing, and not just because I'm a part of the Rocky Mountain team. I've been bored at home, so I'm like, I'm going to play fantasy every week. So I have a little league with my brother and some family in it, and then I play the main one too. And I've gotten the wild card right the last 2 weekends both.
Well, we're getting to see the points. I don't see your name in the top 10.
So I didn't play
Where you at, man?
I didn't play the first 2 weeks, so that's why I'm not up there. Because I was racing the first 2 weeks.
Well, and that's the good thing about the game. You can join in now at Atlanta. You don't have to.
And win prizes this week.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's an awesome program that the Rocky Mountain guys, put together, and awesome prizes every week. So I've been playing it for fun, being at home, and I've gotten the wild card right both weeks, the last 2. So, man, 13th is I have to go with maybe Porcel. I think
that's a good one.
Maybe it's hard because you say guys like Porcel, he's a multi-time 250 Supercross champion. To say 13th, but even though there's a few guys out hurt, there's a lot of guys this year. So it's hard to you say that name in 13th, and you're like, that doesn't sound right. But then you look at the list of guys, and it's
still a good ride.
Guys. Yeah, that's still a respectable ride. So
Jim Hawley?
I think for my wild card, I think I might put Andrew Short in there this weekend.
He's a good one.
13th there, and then I still think I'm going to go with the Lobo, man. Jason Anderson on that Husky for the win. And I think Eli Tomac in that second spot, and I think Dungey in third. But you know what? We're forgetting about James Stewart.
Yep.
James Stewart.
He's a wild card in itself this weekend.
Right,
for
the win.
Podium. Yeah, for the win.
Right.
So
well, it's fun to play fantasy. Go to rmfantasysx.com and join the fun, just like Kyle Chism has.
Yep.
You know.
Come on, play me, guys. I haven't been the best, but I've been good the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm getting the hang of it.
Well, you've been a great spokesperson for your team, and you kind of had to, because the big guy. I know that you talked to the big guy, Ray Butts, before you came up here, and he was like, "You got to do a good job, man."
For sure. Now, like I said, I know we texted a little bit yesterday, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be coming up. Like, my wife's due in 6 weeks, or 6 days, like I said. So we were kind of hanging in there. I'm like, is she going to have the baby? And it doesn't look like she's too close. So I'm like, I'm going to go up for the day and hang out and represent my sponsors and see if I can come on the show and have some fun. You know, even though I'm not racing, I'd like to show my face and be here. You know, I enjoy it. All part, you know, this is a part of my job, not just racing the motorcycle. So I enjoy doing the stuff with you guys and every part of what this comes with.
Cool, Kyle. It's the first round of the 250 East, and it's stacked. We've seen the first round of qualifying, and Malcolm Stewart goes out there and puts it on top of the board by a little bit. But there's a lot of other guys looking good. Tyler Bowers was on the show, and he had a good lap. Arnaud Tonos had a good lap. Jeremy Martin was the second fastest. Jeremy Martin is a 2-time outdoor national champion. Do you think he can flip the switch this year and make it happen with Supercross?
Man, Jeremy's a good kid. I like him a lot. I wouldn't say I'm good friends with him, but he's a hardworking kid. You know, he does his job every weekend. But you know, it's no surprise or no secret he's struggled a little bit in Supercross. I wouldn't say totally, but especially at the beginnings of the seasons.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's a 2-time outdoor champion. So today in the first practice, I think he was second, and man, he looked really good. So I think for him, he really needs to start the season off strong. He ended the last season strong in Supercross, but I think he can start off strong this weekend, and that'd be good for him. But I'm good friends with Malcolm, and he's a really good rider, as you can tell. It's hard to go against him. I think for Malcolm, he needs to stay on 2 wheels, get himself in a good position on the start. The track's going to be gnarly with the rut, so ride smart, let it come to him, and I think he has a good chance at winning. He's a really good rider.
Well, you mentioned Malcolm Stewart. Andy, you got a chance to catch up with him on Track Walk, so let's listen to see what Malcolm Stewart had to say.
You're on the East Coast again, man. You won last year on the West Coast. You ready to win this championship or what?
Yeah, that's the plan. I've been feeling good. I've been training all year just to get ready for tonight. So, like I said, if I don't go out and win this one, still got 9 races, 8 races to go. So, my goal is to hit the box every single time, and I feel a lot more stronger and better now that I didn't have to worry about a ride and stuff like that, like I did last year, and things coming in like that. So everything was last minute. So this year, I pretty much just trained, and I knew I was already good to go, and I just focused on training and riding and doing the best I can. So injuries are good so far, and I don't know, we'll see what we can do tonight.
A little bit of softer dirt here in the Georgia Dome, kind of similar to your practice track, it seems like. Are you stoked to see the dirt here, and is that going to work into your favor, you think?
You know, mainly I'm actually stoked for my family to see me race. That's what I'm mainly. Doesn't necessarily matter with dirt, because you know, once you get to a professional level, you got to learn how to ride on tracks, all different terrains and stuff like that. So, dirt doesn't necessarily matter. Yeah, you grew up in Florida, you got better dirt, but mainly you spend a lot of your time in California testing and stuff like that with the team. So it's a lot more different. But like I said, mainly I'm happy for my family to actually see me race. That's what I'm happy about.
That's awesome, man. Big, long 3rd or 4th gear start. How's your start game? You've been working on some whole shots?
Of course. I'm one of the heaviest riders out there between me and Tyler Bowers. So, yeah, me and Bowers got some work to do tonight. So I think we're going to be shifting a little bit extra gears faster than everybody else.
Good luck, Malcolm.
Thank you.
So we just heard from Malcolm Stewart right there, and he kind of backed up his talk on Track Walk and put it up there on the top of the steps, or I mean not the top of the steps, the top of the board in qualifying. I can't say I was really surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't say either. Like I said, Malcolm does a lot of off-season races too, which I know there's been a little bit of a break since the off-season, you know, with the West Coast races going on, but he does good at the softer dirt. You know, a lot of the European races that we go to have soft dirt like this, so he's like I said, it'd be hard to bet against him. I think the biggest thing for him is going to be that start, like he said in the package right there. He's one of the heaviest riders on the 250, and it's a long start this weekend.
Right.
Got to have a lot of horsepower, but the Honda that he's riding, the Geico Honda he's riding, is a really good bike. So You know, I don't think he's at any disadvantage there. Just going to be a matter of him getting a good jump, getting his handlebars in front of the guy next to him, and being able to hold it on down the straightaway.
Well, his teammates, Christian Craig, and those guys on the West Coast have been getting huge starts, and they all have been saying the motors are really fast on them and stuff. So I don't think it's going to be too tough for Malcolm to get down that starting line. He is a bigger guy, but like you said, if he gets the front wheel out of the gate, he can kind of manipulate what he's going to do with the pack, and he ain't scared. He'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Well, and another rider that I was surprised to see him, he finished up second, but he crashed in the sand, and he's a two-time outdoor champion there. Jeremy Martin crashed in that sand, and that kind of surprised me because he's an outdoor guy and there's a lot of sand. I was surprised to see him, but I got a chance earlier today on the track walk, and I caught up with him, and let's hear what Jeremy Martin, the man who runs number 6, what he had to say. I know you finished up third last year. I know you had a win here in Atlanta. You got to be kind of liking this soil.
Yeah, it's good. It's always got the first win here like last year, like you said, and I'm excited to be back here. There's nothing like that Georgia red clay.
What have you learned from last year to this year that you're taking in here? And I know you had that one hiccup in Indianapolis last year, not qualifying. What did you learn?
I mean, you just, patience, and an opportunity like that, I tried to do a 3-for-1 special there because I saw those guys were going to jump, and I tried to skim the whoops and just dropped the front and went down, and they were big, and, I should have just taken my time. But, we move forward, and we learn from our mistakes, and that's what makes you better.
You get a chance to watch your teammate Cooper Webb out on that West Coast. He's leading that championship now. He's had to do it the hard way, coming from the back of the pack, bad starts.
Yeah, I always say, the second one's always a little harder to win, that everyone's looking at you. I mean, just like me in the outdoors, battling with Marvin, trying to defend the title. So, the West Coast is good. They had a battle there between him and Joey. And, now the fans get a little change of pace and a new flavor, I guess you could say, and they get to watch the East guys go at it for a bit.
Talk to the fans that are watching this video on how hard it is for you to watch that West Coast start. I mean, you've been having to wait in the wings for the last 7 weeks.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I've been watching my brother and Cooper and everyone, and it's not fun to watch because you want to be out there. We're all racers, we're all competitive, and we all have the same drive. So. But at the same time, I've been doing this is my 4th year now, and I know that when the time comes, it's full on. You're in it every weekend. So I enjoyed those 7 weeks and enjoyed sleeping in on Sunday morning and all that stuff, and not having to get on a flight. So we're here now, and batteries are charged, and we're ready to go.
Time to go to work.
That's right.
And you just heard from Jeremy Martin right there. And, he backs up what he said on track walk, came out second fastest in qualifying. Maybe it is time that he's figured this Supercross thing out. I know he works really hard. He's worked with Ricky Carmichael. You know what that's like. That's tough.
Yeah, for sure. If he's working with RC, he's doing something right. So, he came out strong in practice today. And like I said, he's had slow starts to the season, both of his last 2 years, I think, whatever. But he ended last season strong. I think maybe figured something out. Obviously had a good outdoor season. And he's had, obviously, it seems like a good off-season this year, and he came out prepared in that first one. So, be good for him to start out on a good note and not have to play catch-up the whole season.
Well, and here next year he's going to move to that 450 class, and he'll have to battle with you guys.
Yeah, it's a different ball game in the 450 class, man. There's the guys in the 450 class have been around a long time, and it's a lot harder to race those guys than the 250 guys. I look back and I'm watch the 250 guys, and I'm like, man, why did you make that mistake? And then you kind of forget that, they got to go through that learning process of what to do, what not to do. Racing Supercross and practicing Supercross are two totally different things.
That's what we were talking about, yeah.
I think that's what a lot of the rookie guys that come in, and even guys in their second year, maybe Jeremy last year or whatever, have to learn is when you're at the practice track by yourself and there's no one around you, you can hit your lines good. You're not worried about anything. You can hit your marks every lap. You get out here, there's 22 guys going all over the place, and there's lines all over the place. You're not by yourself. You're in a stadium. There's people screaming and yelling, and it's just different, And then when you're racing and not just practicing, you got to learn. You're not just taking the fast way around the track. Right. You got to learn places to pass, set people up. You got to think more than just hitting that one line every lap. So it's a learning curve. And 450 class, the guys have went through that, and they're a lot smarter that you're racing against. So you got to be be even smarter to be successful, I think, in that class.
Well, speaking of learning curves and thinking of smarter, you know, Aaron Plessinger was a rookie last year in the 250 West Coast, switches over to the East Coast this year, Jeremy Martin's teammate. We talked to him. He has a lot of confidence coming into tonight. Here's what he had to say.
Your second year at this thing, what did you pick up last year that's going to help you win this championship?
Just consistency. I learned a lot last year just riding with Cooper and Jeremy and everybody, and I mean, you just got to be consistent, be patient, and be good at your whoops and your corners. And I think come Vegas, I might have this thing locked up.
Well, you're on the East Coast this year. You know, it's going to be softer dirt, ruts, a little bit more nasty, but that's right up your alley. Do you feel more comfortable here on the East Coast?
Oh yeah, for sure. With all the trees and everything, I'm from around here, so I feel a lot more at home. And yeah, like you said, the ruts and everything on press day, it was awesome. I was railing the ruts. I was hitting the rhythms good, and yeah, I just felt at home here.
Well, you guys have been waiting a long time. You know, the season opener was back in January. You've been watching your teammates. They've been getting the bike better. How is the bike? How has your training been going at the test track? How's the machine? Is it ready?
Oh yeah, the Yamaha is perfect right now. Press day, it went awesome. It felt good. I didn't make any changes, and yeah, Yamaha, we just been putting in the work, and me and Coop have been doing motos, and yeah, I put out a GoPro not too long ago, and hope everybody's seen it. And yeah, I was right on Cooper, so he's the fastest in the West. Hopefully I'm the fastest in the East.
Right, so your confidence has to be high. It's a short championship with a divisional 250 class, so you got to attack right now. Is your confidence ready? You ready to go out and win tonight?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. The 9 rounds are going to be pretty short, but pretty long at the same time. Right. But yeah, I'm ready, and let's get the ball rolling.
All right, good luck, Aaron.
Thank you.
You know, I say short championship in the divisional 250 class, but you know, 9 rounds. It's 9 rounds is 9 rounds. But if you have a bad race in those 9 rounds, it's almost impossible to dig yourself out. You know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like we saw on the West Coast, Cooper Webb won 3 in a row, has a bike problem, and it looks like, oh man, what's he gonna do? How is he gonna get back in the championship? Next thing you know, Joey Savacci has that unfortunate incident with Christian Craig, goes down. Now Cooper Webb has the plate back, the red plate back. So here in the East, these guys getting fired off. It's pretty cool to feel their energy coming into this to get it kicked off.
Yeah, like you said, it's short on one hand because it's 9 races, but at the same time, it's 9 races. So I think you can't afford too big of a mistake. But like Cooper showed on the West Coast, you can recover from it if you have to. But it is there's not that big of a points gap between each position. So if you have a weekend and you lose 25 points to your second place to get to that competitor, there's only 9 races to make up potentially 3 points, which is 27 points. So you've got to win out all the races if that guy finished second. So you don't have a lot of time to catch up if something bad happens.
Well, and here's the other flip side of that mechanical that he had was early enough in the season where it gave him an opportunity to kind of get up and make points. I mean, you have that DNF on round 8. You're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, exactly. So he's had a chance to recover, and Joey had some bad luck or whatever you want to call it last weekend, so Cooper's back up with a little bit of a lead. So they flip-flopped a little bit, but it's racing, man. It's a motorsport and dirt bikes, and anything can happen any weekend. So you can't ever 9 races, 100 races, or 2 races. You got to be there every weekend, I think. You know,
that's tough.
You can lose it in one, but you want to just be consistent there every weekend. I think Malcolm's outlook that he was kind of saying a little bit earlier, being on the podium every weekend, that's put yourself in the position to win, and in a good position where if something does happen, you have a better chance of recovering from it.
Right.
So
Well,
limit those mistakes.
Absolutely, Kyle.
Yeah.
Good job. And speaking of putting yourself in a position to win, Denny Hamlin put himself in a position to win the Daytona 500 last weekend, and that's a big thing for JGR. You know, JGR and their motocross team, that trickles down throughout their whole team. We were able to speak with Jeremy Albrecht for this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk. Here's what he had to say.
Welcome to this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk. We say each and every week we go behind the scenes. Well, this week we're going behind the scenes with Jeremy Albrecht, the team manager for the Joe Gibbs Toyota Auto Trader. Did I miss anybody? I'm sure I missed a couple.
There's a bunch, man. We're doing good with the sponsors, so definitely. But yeah, Auto Trader, Monster Energy, Toyota, Yamaha team is what it is. So we got a lot of good sponsors.
Let me ask you this: the season started out, Barcia was good, but then all of a sudden he had that thumb injury, and Phil Nicoletti, he's probably got to be happy right now. He filled in for Barcia. Now he actually filled in for Weston Pike in the first because he had a penalty, and now he's filling in for Justin Barcia.
Yeah, definitely not how we wanted the season to begin, but that's what Phil's here for, and it's working great. Barcia actually hurt his thumb a week before the season started, didn't know how bad, and then came out leading until the red flag there the first race. So the speed's there, just couldn't hold on to the grip. So then during the week, went to the doctor, figured out his ligament torn off the bone. So ended up trying to race one more week just to make sure that couldn't do it, and it was definitely better, but he just wanted to get it fixed, be 100%. So it's fixed. Pin came out Friday, starts riding about another week or so, a week and 2 days, and then start getting ready to get back. So Phil will race these next probably 4 races, and then hopefully Marsh will be back on the bike.
Let me ask you this, it's round 8 already, Atlanta. Big weekend, not only for Coy, your boss, but his dad, which is the big boss, Coach Joe Gibbs. Congratulations, you guys, last weekend winning that Daytona 500. I know it's one big family over there.
Yeah, it's cool. A lot of Toyotas out front. So, we were excited. It was really good racing, super close. I think in the past years they were drafting more. So this year they were racing all the way to the finish line. And actually Kenseth, the teammate, was leading. And last straightaway, Hamlin went to go around him. And then Kenseth blocked. And then one of the other cars that they actually helped, the Truex car, was right there. So they all went across the line. Barely won, but doesn't matter by how far, as long as you win. So it's Toyota's first win in the 500. I think JGR's been since 1993, so definitely a race they've been wanting to win. So it was awesome for everybody,
A big weekend for you guys. I mean, meaning we're here in Atlanta at the Dome on Saturday night, but Sunday they got the Atlanta Speedway, their second round over there. A lot of the mechanics and NASCAR guys that work for Joe Gibbs on that side of things, they'll come over. A lot of the drivers come over and see what your operation over here in Supercross.
Yeah, they're all excited to come see what we do, and we're excited to go see what they do. So last year, Carl Edwards showed up, Denny Hamlin. I know Joe, Coy, and JD are all coming. So big family event and company event. So we're excited to have them come see what we do.
And welcome back. And that was pretty cool for that organization. Big dealer winning the Daytona 500. But NASCAR's here this weekend, the Atlanta Motor Speedway. A lot of those guys are coming over here tonight. The King, Richard Petty's coming on behalf of Monster. And Kurt Busch, who's on the pole for tomorrow, is going to be here on behalf of Monster Energy. That's going to be cool. We have the NASCAR Hole Shot Challenge coming up, presented by Oakley. And what do you think about that? Those guys lining up on dirt bikes and going for a hole shot.
I'm curious to see. I don't. How much experience do those guys have? Do you know?
They've been riding.
They've been
riding
a little bit.
I've been texting them all for about.
With the start that we have here tonight, a nice long start. I think it'll be interesting. I hope they stay safe mostly, obviously.
Yeah, me too.
I think it'll be exciting. It'll be cool to watch and see how that goes.
My guy's Biffle. I'm going to change the gearing on it so we can get out of the hole a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle, thank you for coming on Race Day Live today, man. You've done an amazing job. We want to see you get healed up all the way and get back out there and get in the main events where you belong. I'm sure you got a mechanic, and that's actually what this next segment is about, the MMI Top Tech Mechanic. Let's check it out.
You were pulling double duty tonight. Here we are with one of your guys, Chris Howell. Tell me about your night and who you were helping tonight.
So tonight I actually helped out Noah McConaughey and Chris Howell. I'm normally Chris Howell's guy, but Noah's mechanic couldn't make it this week, so I actually prepped 2 race bikes this week. Noah had an issue with his practice bike during the week, so I had to fix that on Friday also. So I really prepped 3 bikes and, going to the line with 2 guys, flipping back and forth, both guys in the LCQ, and then for both of us to make the main tonight, I can't ask for more from both the riders. They put just as much work in as I do. It's a full team effort. If it weren't for JMC Motorsports, the whole Mishka family, Husqvarna USA, we wouldn't even be talking right now. So it's awesome.
That's a lot of work that you put into your night with 2 riders going from the heat to the LCQ and then both guys making it into the main. Now tell me, what adjustments were you making for each of the guys as they were going through their night?
So all day we made changes. We made some gearing changes today. We actually changed some tire sizes today. We made some fork adjustments on Chris's bike today. So, we were all over the board during the day, and then we had a solid setup. Both guys were fast into the night show, so it's really not the time to make changes. Plus, we don't have any time. I literally had 10 minutes to prep 2 bikes between the LCQ and the main event. So Yeah, no changes for the night show, but we made changes all day, so it was good for sure.
Well, congratulations, absolutely deserving of the MMI Top Tech Award.
Thank you so much. I'm actually an MMI grad myself. I graduated in May of 2002, so it's cool to see the MMI is actually paying back to the sport and supporting it. I like to see it, and the more guys we have out here doing this, the more people that'll share the passion that I have. So I'm pretty pumped for sure.
Absolutely, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Have a nice night.
And there was our MMI Top Tech Award winner last weekend. It was good to see Myra again, and she'll be back to join us in a couple weeks. So I can't wait for that. She did a good job on the show. I tell you, who did a good job was Kyle Cunningham. What a good talker.
Yeah, no, he did. You mean Kyle Chism?
Yeah, Kyle Cunningham. Kyle Chism.
Kyle Cunningham riding here tonight on that 450, making
the other
his
Kyle.
debut.
Yeah. No, so it's sad to see him injured. He had a good thing going there with Rocky Mountain ATV EMC. I think he was going to be good on that Honda. He's going to be a main event guy, but he'll be back and keep charging along. And once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Race Day Live, all of our international viewers. You want to ask us questions, Jim knows answers. Jim's been around a long time, so use the hashtag AskRDL, and we'll figure it out. We'll talk to factory mechanics. We'll talk to team owners. There it is, hashtag AskRDL, and send us your questions on Twitter. Send as many as you want.
Yeah, if we don't know the answer, we'll find it for you for sure.
Right. So, we're halfway through the qualifying sessions here. Eli Tomac has shown that he's fast today. Do you think that's going to transfer into his main events and his heat races and then his program for tonight? You think Eli's going to be back on that podium?
Yeah, I think so. In talking with him last week, he really wasn't happy with the track. It was too tight. He goes, man, I want these things opened up. I want it to be like Phoenix. In Phoenix, he got a podium. So this is a lot like Phoenix. It's opened up. He's feeling good. You see the time, second. He's not that far off of Dungey. The big key is if he can get that start. You can be aggressive on this track to a certain point, and then you can be too aggressive and
go
down. So, I mean, there's a fine line right there. But, we always talk about it. You hear on Fox Sports 1, Jeff Emig always talking about the key to the races. And it's the start. I mean, that's just it. It's the start. And why not? There's $1,500 on the line from supercrosslive.com that they're paying. I mean,
and a lot bigger money behind that if you go ahead and get the whole shot and go on to win that main event.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in bonuses.
Well, speaking of that, and speaking about qualifying, and speaking of hot laps, we have the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore hot lap. Let's go ahead and check it out, Jim Hawley.
Let's do it.
Looks like we're in St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis. We'll be there in a few weeks over there. Long rhythm section. And you're going to see the hair coming out of that right-hander. The graphics are always so good on the MX versus ATV game here. And you land on the downside here. And I just, the thing about it, we've had Stefan Roncada and a lot of the guys from MX versus ATV Supercross Encore. They've been on the show a lot of times. And I think maybe next year, because we kind of put a bug in their ear, that maybe they can have a signboard, the mechanics out there, because I'd like to see some of that. But as you're watching here,
tell them to breath.
Yeah,
you got a breath.
Yeah, it's just it's just so nice to see all these graphics. You make these right-handers. This is a realistic game. I mean, it is so enjoyable to play, and we got a chance in Phoenix to play. We kind of had a little race there going, but and Myra got the chance to go down there and see exactly as he wheelied through everything there. But
look at this. Look at the features. Look at the sponsors. Look at the ruts. Look at the way they're able to whip the bike. The physics of the bike. Michael Mamula, the lead designer on this, was just a wizard putting this thing together. The jump on, jump off section there. Coming into this left-handed berm, bam! There's a good rut right there. Into a huge jump on triple, jumps off. It's really cool. We've been blessed to have these guys on the show and explain how they put this game together and made all these cool features and stuff. And they're going to continue to build these tracks. There's going to be more packages. But that was this week's hot lap, and that was the St. Louis Supercross right there.
It's the actual track they'll be riding in a few weeks.
It's going to be awesome. MX versus ATV Supercross Encore. Go ahead and get yourself one today. GameStop, Walmart, and Xbox will be coming up here before too long.
I believe it's May 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
May 10th.
That's when the
available on Xbox One, May 10th. Right, so we're back here. We're getting ready to begin our second round of qualifying inside the Georgia Dome. The Feld track crew, there they go. Love to hear that sound. You guys blasting off the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore start.
The final time out there for this group, seeing that 250.
Ooh,
overjumped it a little bit there. You know, and that's what happens when the Feld track crew gets out there during that intermission. They work it out. And it's, the last time these guys were out there, it was probably ruddy or whatever. Now they got great traction.
Is that Silverstein out there again?
I'm not
5'12"?
sure.
Yeah, it is. Look at this guy.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, he is feet off the peg, super aggressive.
He's going to the main event tonight. I have a feeling he's just on it.
If he keeps it on 2 wheels, he is. But I mean, he has the hammer down. Look at that.
And he's doing the smart thing because he's got the hammer down on the first lap.
Get a good lap in.
Get a good time in, and that's going to carry over into that main event and qualifying, hopefully. And heat race.
Once again, yeah, he's on the Blue Buffalo Slater Skins team. So good for them. There's Tyler Bierman. He's back out there and going. Had a little bit of a mishap in his first qualifying session.
All the ruts are gone on that wall jump as Bierman heads into the whoops. Still, they didn't get a chance to work the whoops. They'll work them after all the qualifying's over as he heads back down.
You'll notice the preferred line in the whoops there, Jim, right there.
Yep.
But as that gets worse and more cupped out, won't we see the guys go to the edges back where they're more consistent?
Well, and maybe to the middle, and the thing about it is they're trying to carry that speed around that left-hander right now, and you see Bierman going into that sand section. Whoa, he can make any line in that sand. There's no ruts in there right now. As our buddy Andrew Silverstein, a 49.6, so not a bad time. Oh, 7:03. Justin Rando.
Oh, he says, what happened? I'll tell you what, there's a lot more action coming up. It's the second round of qualifying. We're going to have a few words from our sponsors. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. AMSOIL. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose AMSOIL synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Terex 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
I just woke up one day and it clicked, and I'm like, I'm not just gonna be someone that rode a dirt bike and that tried. I'm gonna become the best. To be the best, it takes sacrifice, it takes a dream and a drive.
Striving to be the best, it's super critical to have a strong team behind you and a strong motorcycle. Being the best is everything, that's what you want. It's where you want to be.
It all just comes down to how much passion you have for the sport.
The bike is everything to be the best.
Never give up, chase your dream, and if you work hard now and you sacrifice and you do what you're supposed to do, you can live the rest of your life as a champion.
The Yamaha Champion YZ450F and multi-champion YZ250F.
Rainbow Studios. Are you ready for more? MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore. The off-road legend returns with the next generation of graphics. Set yourself up with all new gear and bikes. Tear up the track in outdoor nationals and waypoint races. Meet up and explore in freeride. And for the first time ever, rhythm racing. Available now.
there's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
And we're back at the Georgia Dome for the conclusion of 250C qualifying number 2. 3.5 minutes to go. It's still Andrew Silverstein in front of Tyler Bierman, Josh Bartosz, Dylan Walker, and Harry Miller. But Silverstein jumped out there early with that 49.6, 2/10 faster than Tyler Bierman. Number 512 out there, fastest guy. Let's hope you're calling main event for Silverstein. Jim Hawley. You think so?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks good.
You mentioned Tyler Bierman, him and Darren Durham, they're on a road trip. Yeah, they got Fast House helping them out.
Yep.
And they're filming that, and they got some pretty good behind-the-scenes stuff that I've seen on YouTube.
Those two. Want to remind everybody, Sunday, March 13th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Monster Energy Supercross Chasing the Dream. Episode 2 is coming up. You do not want to miss it. It's an outstanding effort from Doug Cabrera and all those guys. Luke Parmenter. The first episode blew my mind. It really, if you're a true fan of Supercross, you're going to love to see the behind-the-scenes stuff. So March 13th, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time on FS1. Monster Energy Supercross Chasing the Dream, Episode 2. Check it out.
Starting to see some of the lines start to develop. You see a little bit of that dust. What that dust is a drying agent that they laid down on the faces of the jump. So keeping the track good. Hang on to it.
That was Jared Lesher in the screen right now, 336.
Looks like
Chaz
he might
Graydon.
be on a heater there.
Oh, hang on, Chaz. Got a little bit off balance there. No worse for the wear. He continues on, hits the big 65-foot triple.
Yeah,
These guys got to be loving life right now. The track looks excellent. Most of the ruts are taken care of, and they're getting around there very well.
Yeah, Jared's sitting right now in 6th. Actually just dropped down to 7th. That's Trevor Ezel there, 326 on that KTM from Kentucky, making his debut in 2016. He rode with us last year.
Jared Lesher going through the whoops there, number 412.
Looks like he might be on a little bit of a heater.
Motorsports, yeah, he's going for it. 411, Dylan Walker. We remember Dylan Walker going through the whoops in the first qualifying session.
He was on it.
Killing it. So he's 5th fastest in this one right now. Looks like he's trying to get a quicker time.
There's Trevor Ezel in that KTM. Good friend of Kurt Binke's there, Trevor. I think Kurt Binke's been helping him out a little bit when Kurt lived in Kentucky. Come on, Trevor.
Yeah.
You got to jump that triple, buddy.
Jim Hawley's going to come find you in the pits.
I'll find him.
I tell you, that nobody's gone around the whoops yet today, Jim. So you've been in a good mood. You haven't gotten upset.
Yeah.
So
if they went around the whoops today, I'd really be upset because they're not that bad. I wouldn't go around the whoops today. Some of the whoops, in the fairness of some of the guys, I'd go around them, but not today.
There's Andrew Silverstein again in our screen, still leading them around right there. Checker flag is out. He's the heat. 250C qualifying number 2.
Yeah, not a bad time there.
49.6.
There you see the results there. Top 3. Top 4 now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Was Vicky in the C group or was she in the B?
She's in the B.
Yeah, she's in the B.
Yeah.
So she's coming up.
She'll be coming up next. Absolutely, I believe. If I'm looking at my schedule here, and we're all up. I think we are all the way caught up. Right. All right, well, we've asked you guys to ask us our questions, the hashtag AskRDL. You guys have sent us some, so it's time to get them answered. Let's go ahead and check out our questions for this week. Jim, how often do you get out there and ride?
Well, Jacob, I actually got a chance to ride last week on Thursday. I got a couple guys in town from Japan, and it rained in LA on Wednesday night, and I said, you know what, let's go out. And I was a little nervous because I had to go to Arlington. I go, man, I can't get off out here because if I get off, I'm not going to be able to do the show. Right. But probably maybe once every 4 months or so. I'm a fair weathered rider
53 years old, still getting it.
No, 55.
55 years old.
Still getting it. But I was a little disappointed there, Jacob. There's a chance.
There you go.
That's at LACR. That was in December. I got a chance to go out there and ride with my kids and stuff. So they put the GoPro on me. You know me with technology. I didn't know how to work anything, so they put a glove on me and went out there, and we had a good time. There's Jared to my left and James, my oldest, to my right. They like to go out there and ride, and we had a good time riding. It's all about going out and having fun. There's out in the desert there, and I even brought my dog out there at Little Alvin.
Yeah.
And Jared's over there. And
there's Jim Hawley.
That's Munich, Germany. A long time ago.
Got a flat
Munich.
one-hander there.
Yeah. Yeah, see? That's what I used to be like.
Here's our second question from Jay Kiefer. Whatever happened to Brock Glover? You never hear about him these days. Was Brock Tickle named after him? And I don't know about the Brock Tickle being named after him, but you can tell us what Brock Glover's been up to. He's still very involved in Supercross.
Oh, yeah. Brock's one of the main men over at Dunlop Tires. He was a former teammate of mine, and he's working hard. I mean, Brock's one of the hardest guys that, in the sport, and he goes down and talks to all the riders and asks them, hey, how's that compound working? What do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Let's talk to Brian Fleck, and maybe he'll make a change for you. But no, Brock Glover, each and every Supercross and Outdoor National, and I'm sure he's not down with Clark Stiles once in a while. He's probably testing too.
I bet you he's still fast too.
Yep.
The Golden Boy, Brock Glover.
Yeah, but I don't think Brock Tickle's named after him.
No. Our third question, Jim doesn't never like this, but what happens if a rider stops during timed practice? Thank you from Casablanca. That's from Rita Tassi there.
Yeah,
if you stop on the track, Jim, tell them what happens.
Rita, you're done. Your time's over. If you set fast time, that you can go to the AMA, you can complain to them and say, hey, only there might be an exception if maybe your bike broke or something or it's seized, but if you stop and look at a section on a track, that time's going to be waved off. So you don't want to stop out there when you're out there qualifying.
Right. So remember, #AskRDL. Send us your questions in on Twitter, and we'll ask them. We'll put your name up on here live on Race Day Live in front of the world for them to all see, and we'll answer your questions. So send them all in. Send them any question that you have. We're back on track here. It's 250B qualifying number 2, and Benny Bloss back up at the top. Benny Bloss was a beast in the first qualifying number 1.
Yeah, he had fast time
right there
there
in your screen.
Tall, lanky kid on a Yamaha. Where's he from? Is he from here? Close by, right?
Yeah. Benny Bloss comes to us from Oak Grove, Missouri.
Missouri boy.
Yeah.
Going to have a lot of fans there when we're in St. Louis.
Yeah, you will.
Got to remember that St. Louis is a day race, too.
There's Van Martin.
Got a pretty cool name, though. Van Martin.
Van Martin sounds like a motocross racer, There's a few names you hear of, Damon Bradshaw, that guy, Ezra Lusk, that guy has to be a motocross racer. Van Martin, absolutely. Dylan Slusser right there, I believe.
All right, let's go, Vicky. That first lap time was a 59.7 for Vicky Golden, so that's a good time. There she is right there as we're speaking of her. Come on, do the triple. There you go. Nice, Vicky.
See, she jumps really, really well.
Oh, she's a great jumper. See how she goes in the wall jump and in the whoops. She's sending in the whoops.
Pretty good momentum through the whoops.
Yeah.
Let's see if he keeps momentum up around the corner. Must corner harder, but that wasn't bad. Pretty good flow right there. Actually, looks pretty good there.
Yeah, we'll have to see how she does after this whoops here, and then that left hand, and then you're going to come into that timing section, then the dragging back into that sand. That's where she was struggling a little bit in that first qualifying session, and yeah, you got to send it a little bit more. You can pick up at least a second right there. But I'm sure Kenny Bell's going to talk to her after that, and Paul Coates now sitting in that second position with a 50.8. Now John Short moves up with a 50.6 into that second spot. But Benny, I'm going to call him Benny the Jet because he is hauling out there today.
Benny the Jet from Sandlot?
Benny the Jet, yeah. Get a chance to look at Durham right there, 159. Tyler Behrman's teammate. Oh, hang on.
You know, Jim, one of the cool things we saw in the pits last weekend was the gold pegs on Team RCH and Kerry Hart and the effort they're doing for Dave Mirra. And we were able to catch up with them. And here's what they're doing to honor Dave Mirra. Let's take a look at that real quick.
I'm here with Travis Perry, the mechanic for the number 12 Jake Weimer, Jimmy John, Soaring Eagle, RCH, Factory Suzuki here. No, that's I got to ask you. It's just when you started talking, Andy already got it. I know it's a tribute to Dave Mirra.
He was
Tell me how that came about.
telling me. Yeah, the gold foot pegs were running this week. Kerry Hart was a good friend of Dave Mirra, and then also Jake Weimer, and everybody, honestly, in the whole community knows Dave Mirra and how much he's influenced everyone. The guy's a legend. So we wanted to do something to pay tribute to him, and he always ran the gold pedals, so we got gold foot pegs on the bikes this weekend in honor of him. It's pretty cool.
I'm here with Kerry Hart. Kerry, you had a nice tribute to your friend Dave Mirra last weekend in Arlington. We got a chance. Travis Perry, we were talking to him, and the bikes really look neat with those gold foot pegs. See,
this is what you know, Dave was a really close personal friend of mine. It's just devastating what had happened, and actually where that came from was the BMX community. They've always spray painted their pedals gold, and in tribute for Dave, and thought it'd be a great little nod to him out here in the motocross world, because he was just such an influence on everybody in action sports.
You mentioned the bicycle world. I saw a lot of those YouTube video clips of everybody all over the world. I mean, the man was loved.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I mean, he's definitely an icon in our sport, and whether it's motocross racing, action sports, skateboarding, BMX, he had such an influence in all of us, and he's going to be missed, and it's a huge loss. So it's the least we could do.
He was a moto guy too, Dave. He liked to throw his leg over a motorcycle every once in a while and go ride.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of the BMX guys, like, everybody kind of does both. So it's a small community of everybody in the industry, so everybody kind of knows everybody. So it's just a good thing to do.
And we're back on track in 250B qualifying number 2. Darren Durham jumps up to the top, 49.4, followed by Paul Coates, Benny Bloss, Logan Carnow, and John Short. Darren Durham, 49.4, pretty fast. 2/10 faster than Paul Coates. Benny Bloss, 49.7. With 3 minutes to go here in 250B qualifying number 2.
Vicky Golden there. Let's see where she's at. Actually,
18th.
18th. Yeah. Not a bad time. 55.2. So considerably her times have come down. Each and every time she gets on the track here, and she's over the Monster Energy finish line. And
Jim, that was a really cool package that you did on the gold foot pegs for Dave Mirra. A most unfortunate situation there, but one of the greatest icons in extreme sports of all time. Nothing but love and respect for Dave Mirra and his family. It's really respectful what RCH has done for him.
Yeah, and, I just think he was an innovator. I mean, watching him on the X Games and things like that he did on the bicycle. And a lot of these guys that do bicycles, they ride motorcycles. They enjoy it. And they love Supercross and everything. Vice versa. I mean, the Supercross guys respect what the bicycle guys can do and everything. But it's just unfortunate of his passing. But what a great way to honor him, but with those gold foot pegs that he ran last week in Arlington.
Absolutely.
Well, it looks like that time's going to stick for Darren Durham.
Whoa.
You notice a few of the guys running hand guards like this gentleman here. That's what
6:43 is Jake Oswald.
Yeah, running the hand guards.
Yeah.
Come on, Jake. Oh, missed that little timing section right there. It just takes the wind right out of your sails when you come up short like that. It's just.
With under 2 minutes to go, it is Darren Durham, Paul Coates, Benny Bloss, Logan Carnow, and Joshua Cartwright rounding out the top 5.
Look at old Van Martin, a 51.7, sitting in that 7th position. Not a bad position for him. That's a good qualifying time.
Once again, my buddy David Iser on DMSX Radio, calling out Darren Durham for the podium. He really wants him to get on there. That's a bold statement. This 250 East is stacked, but hey, Darren's got talent. I saw him in the pits. He had a big smile on his face. He's happy to be back racing Supercross.
Well, and if you look at it, that 49.5 for Darren Durham, the first qualifying session with 47 for Malcolm Stewart, a 47 for Jeremy Martin, a 48.
49.4.
little bit off. I think that maybe, as it wears on and he gets a little bit more racing condition under his belt, that, he could be biting up there for a podium. But tonight, I think that, Darren Durham, his main focus and mindset should be to just get that thing into the main event.
Get a top 10, get a
and
top 5.
And that all starts with that top 9 in the heat race. You don't want to go in that last chance race. 4 laps, top 4 guys go. You get a bad start, you got your work cut out for you.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. With time running out, Darren Durham, the heat. Darren Durham.
You're looking at Vicky going around right now, but how many times did these guys and even the factory guys have an opportunity? Not any of the factory tracks that I've been to, I've never seen a dragon back with sand after it.
Right.
They don't have sand, so I don't know. This is something that you put into it that really throws a monkey wrench into their program. They're not used to it. Nice shot of the Monster Energy finish line looking down on the guys. As he looks like Duke Finch from the AMA waving the checkered flag now. So this one we're going to put it to bed for that final 250 Group B
Benny Bloss jumps up to the top. Right there at the very end. 49.2. Checker flag is out. Benny Bloss, the fastest, followed by Darren Durham, Paul Coates, Logan Carnow, Joshua Cartwright. That's 450B qualifying number 2. Where did Vicky end up there, Jim Holly?
Yeah, I mean, that's
55.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to get her in there. 55.2, it might, but you just kind of look at the times, and you got the A guys and you got the C guys. Some of the C guys were pretty fast too.
Andrew Silverstein was super fast, but that's going to do it there for 250B qualifying number 2. Coming up next, we have the A guys, and Malcolm Stewart was the fastest first time out. Jeremy Martin was second quickest, and Tonus was fast. Tyler Bowers, who joined us here on Race Day Live, was in the top 5. Maybe he picked up a couple lines while he was watching the 250A guys. Maybe Tyler can pick it up a notch.
I think so, as we're getting a chance to watch the A guys right now come out on the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate there, and some of the mechanics packing around. There's Malcolm Stewart. He's got a little fist pump there to
there's Tyler Bowers.
There's
right
Tyler
there.
Coming out. That's a nice shot. Always kind of like that.
Yeah, camera guy following him right behind.
You notice that dirt pile behind him, Steve's still getting smaller and smaller.
Using that dirt up quick. Let's see who jumps out here first. I see Aaron Plessinger lining up there. He's going to want to jump out there and get in front of these guys.
Yeah, it looks to me like the whole shot device they have engaged. They have 2 settings. I know on Eli Tomac and Tommy Hahn, they got 2 settings about 10 millimeters apart, so you can drop that front end down a little bit lower.
Getting ready to fire off. MX versus ATV Supercross Encore start. There they go. Looks like Matt Bisceglia jumping out there, number 32.
He's on that new Suzuki team.
That's right.
Kind of got to look at the number 84, Jimmy Albertson. He's on that other Suzuki team. He didn't really jump up. His times weren't really that well in the first one, but hopefully Jimmy Albertson can pick it back up on the 84.
Yeah, top Jimmy, he can get the job done. He'll be faster. But Malcolm, if you remember correctly, in the first practice, this is exactly what he did in the first qualifying session. Just kind of rolled around and loosened up, and then he dropped the hammer, and he was lightning fast. What a big way it would be to start the 250 East for Malcolm Stewart with the win here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how many career wins that Malcolm Stewart has. I know he had Oakland last year, just one. Yeah, just one.
One win. That's Jesse Wentland right there.
Jesse looking good.
Jesse Wentland on the RSR Star Cycle Honda. Malcolm starting to loosen up. We'll see if the Predator gets ready to fire off a lap. He was super fast in the first qualifying session. Looked super confident. For Malcolm, I actually want to say he looked really smooth and in control. Usually in a Malcolm Stewart qualifying session, you'll have a couple of those moments that are
the oh no moments.
Yeah, but he looks very in control, very precise.
Well, Jesse Wentland right now a 48.9, just right off the bat there, just laying it down. Let's see Plessinger right behind him with the 49.9 also, and then Alexandra Fry with the 50 right there.
The rookie.
Matthew Bisceglia, 4th. But this is just getting started right now, believe it or not.
That's right. 8 more minutes of qualifying to go as you see Malcolm Stewart beginning to apply the throttle and charging around that sand section.
Man, if you're Vicky Golden, you're watching that and you're going, man, he just made that look easy.
Yeah. There's Arnaud Tonis.
Got the leg out already when he's landing. Malcolm might be on a little heater. Plessinger pulling off the off,
getting ready to put in a fast lap.
Got good clear vision. I got a good clean track ahead of me. Although I do see Matt Michele right ahead of me, though.
Plessinger's mechanics on the bike look.
See, that's why you don't follow the guys. Yep.
But yeah, there's McGrath jumping in there.
Good to see Shane up in there. Malcolm Stewart was on a heater that last lap, a 47.0 for Malcolm Stewart.
Right to the top.
47.0 and a 47.4 his first qualifying session.
So he was faster.
Track's getting better. You know, It's getting faster. The guys are working with it more and more, and might even be faster in the heat race and main event.
Good for him. I liked his attitude on track walk. I liked his interview. He's confident, big smile. I think he's a little bit worried at the start because he's a bigger guy. But like I was talking about, those Geico Hondas, Christian Craig
he's a big guy.
Jordan
Christian
Smith,
Craig, yeah,
those guys were banging hole shots left and right.
Tonis sitting second right now. Hill in third, Martin in fourth, Martin Davalos, RJ Hampshire, and Tyler Bowers, and Luke Renzen. That's going to be your top 8. That section of whoops, we just saw Jeremy Martin go. I've never seen anybody go that far left.
Right.
I bet when the A450s come out, I bet Chad Reed might be slipping on the left there.
Staying out of that cupped out groove.
Yeah.
Right there, you see Jeremy Martin going to the right of the cupped out groove. Right behind him, Arnaud Tonis jumping through it.
Let's see how he does on the
This would be a good judge
back.
of speed between these two right here. Malcolm tripling that section. Right behind him, Martin Davalos does the same thing. Malcolm likes to jump through there.
Something I noticed when I'm watching Malcolm, he's not following anymore this year. He's kind of making his own lines.
Yep. If he doesn't get a good start, that's going to prove to be quite advantageous for him. There's Jeremy Martin, again, directly outside of that main groove. It could be the year we see him figure Supercross out. He kind of has to. He's moving to the 450 class next year, and quite simply, you got to figure Supercross out. If you're going to ride in the 450 class, you must be good at Supercross, or else,
Well, and you got to remember that this is the first start of their championship fight here, and you don't want to throw it away on the first night here in Atlanta. I mean, a podium's good. That's nothing to sneeze at. Fourth or fifth, you're still in there.
I don't want to say he's not good at Supercross. The guy's won 3 of them. He won Atlanta last year. It's just been the weird, unfortunate luck he's had in the last 2 seasons, missing main events.
Well, that's the key right there. 2 years in a row missing. Last year and the year before, those last chance races when he gets into there and just makes a wrong decision, and you got those big zeros. You look at that and you just look at the point standings on the East Coast last year, and he finished up third with 143 points. But Indianapolis, you got that big 0 right there, and that's not going to cut it.
Martin Davalos jumps up to the top with a 46.7, followed by Justin Hill. It's still shaken up. Aaron Plessinger jumped up to second with a 46.9, 2/10 off of Martin Davalos, who's still the fastest, followed by Justin Hill, Malcolm Stewart, and Jeremy Martin rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, Martin Davalos, he's always been good in qualifying. He's always been good in the heat races, and he's won a few races in his career, but it just seems like he finished up 10th last year in the championship fight, and he missed the last couple, but his best finish was here in Atlanta, which was a 4th.
There's Aaron.
Looking back, seeing who's behind him. Okay, I'm going to go now.
He's just putting in a cool down lap.
Whoa.
And, that guy's not in a cool down lap. He's trying to get around fast. He's wanting to jump up to the top of the leaderboard. But she goes all the way inside here.
Yeah, try and get that clock.
See if he jumps up to the top.
Justin Hill jumps up to the top now with a 46. Now Malcolm sticks. 46.3 for Malcolm Stewart. Justin Hill a 46.4, and then Martin Davalos a 46.7, Aaron Plessinger a 46.9, and Jeremy Martin in that 5th with a 47.1.
Top 4 within a half, within a half a second.
With about 2:49 to go.
This is going to be a good race tonight. I can't wait to see this 250 Eastern Division guys go for it. A lot of it's going to play effect on that start, but a lot of it's going to play into how many makes, who doesn't make the mistakes, who keeps it on 2 wheels.
Well, and who has the, also a good race management.
Yeah,
in the beginning of the race, you don't want to push too hard. You don't want to make a mistake early. And Martin looks like he's on a heater. He doesn't like that 5th.
Wow.
Let's
That's
see
the
where
fastest
he's at.
I've seen anybody go through that section all day long.
Well, that's a 2-time outdoor champion. He should get through that sand real good. Let's see. Yeah, he's definitely on a heater. See what his time comes around. That last time for Jeremy Martin was a 58.3, but his best is a 57.1. Let's see.
Shifts up into the whoops.
Yeah, just got a couple more turns. Left-hander here.
Kills the left-handed rut. He's going to go to the inside here and try to get to that timing scoring line as quickly as he can. Jumps up to 3rd.
56.4.
So look how close the top 3 are, Jim.
But here's what he's going to come in. He's going to talk to his mechanics, some of the technicians.
Yeah.
See if he can make a change. Said, hey, okay, I like that setting. Let's go a different way.
Here we have a replay here with Jeremy Martin. Shifting up through the whoops. Watch him shift down for the corner. Bam. Leg out, hard on the gas. That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen, right there. Look at that front tire digging in with the front brake. Thank you for that replay right there. That was amazing.
Martin Davalos now going to the inside. Let's see if that makes it work. See, that's only going to work
just for getting
if it's a last lap.
Right.
Or a last lap pass in a main event. That's the only, because you go to that outside, I mean.
Well, you remember who brought that to our attention. The gentleman that was on Race Day Live, Tyler Bowers.
Yeah, and you know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Last lap of that main event, I'm going to take it.
If it's for the win,
I'm going underneath and I'm moving guys.
That's right.
I'm going to use that weight to my advantage, not on the start, but on the finish.
There's Luke Rensland there, number 46, for Christina Denny's team. Cycle Trader Rock River Yamaha. They're having a great season so far.
And they're expecting big things at him, just like we see his teammate Colt Nichols on that West Coast.
Malcolm Stewart with time running out. We have only 10 seconds to go. Malcolm Stewart with a 45.8. Followed by Justin Hill, Jeremy Martin, Martin Davalos, Aaron Plessinger, Arno Tonas, RJ Hampshire, Tyler Bowers, Luke Rensland, and Daniel Harreline. He's the Eastern Division of AMSOIL Arena Cross champion, Daniel Harreline is. Jumping over from Arena Cross to Supercross. The guy can whip the bike, number 83. He's a very talented racer.
I'm surprised to see in that 11th Shane McElrath, but not really though, because he's coming off of that wrist injury. It's been busted. But there you can see it right there.
Yeah, Jeremy jumped up in there to 2nd.
Yeah, but the thing about it, you got a 45.8 and you got a 46.2. So Malcolm Stewart's got to be happy right about now. Like going, okay, I'm almost a half a second faster than everybody.
Yeah, 4/10. Very
Huge.
good. And we're gonna we'll be going to the podium here with Malcolm Stewart and Ashley. I don't know. Sometimes when they might talk to the second place guy if Malcolm was fastest twice, but we'll see. But nonetheless, Ashley Phillips will be going down here to interview these guys real quick.
I think they actually might be going to Martin.
Yeah, I think so.
There's the times.
Yeah. There they are.
Trying to listen to what they're saying there.
All right, and we're back in the 450A qualifying. Number 2s are back. The fastest guys, we're going to get on the track here as soon as we can. There we go. blasting off the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. Who jumped out first there? There's Jason Anderson.
Yeah, always Anderson. Vince Freeze right behind him. And that Kawasaki there, Will Hahn. It's good to see Will Hahn up. Oh, hang on, Anderson.
Anderson goes
I don't
down
think
hard.
that thing made it.
No,
he didn't
went
straighten
down
that
hard.
out. No. There he is there.
Stepped out there.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good
I don't
thing.
know. How's it a good thing?
Because remember Anaheim round 1 when he got off?
He crashed huge in qualifying
and he came back
and won the main event.
So I think he's okay. He's going to ride over and talk to his mechanic, maybe straighten out a few things. But
yeah, oh,
man, look at that.
Yeah, the rear end stepped out with about 5 loops to go, and
can
here
you
we
say,
go.
Can you say a body massage tomorrow morning?
Right there, and it catches.
Oh,
and it was,
look at that twist on his.
He jumped up pretty quickly, and
I've had a few of those, Andy, in my career. That's why I got that back surgery, that big scar right there. As you get older, the main thing is though he's upset with himself that he did go down because he's losing valuable time right now.
Yeah.
He's got to get the bike running. The best thing is nobody hit him and stuff, and we'll see what happens. But
yeah, he'll be back going again. We just hope he's okay.
That's the difference between a guy like Jason Anderson and Ryan Dungey. You won't see Ryan Dungey make those mistakes.
Crashed really hard on the first lap of practice.
Never saw it happen.
Me either.
And that's something to be said with Malcolm Stewart, taking it easy. You know, you got to remember, everything's cold on your bike. The shock, the oils are cold, things like that. Your body, just warm up a lap or two. But these guys are all competitors, and they all want to get up there, and they all want to put in a great time right away. See, I look at the positive things in everything with Anderson. You're saying, oh, no, but I look at that and, hey, remember, if I'm working with Anderson, I'm going to go back and say, hey, remember Anaheim? You had a pretty bad practice crash, and you came back and won it.
Yeah, I can see where your head was at.
Yeah, you just got to look at it.
You're like, you know what's good about that? And I forgot that he jumped clear off the track there at the opening round, come back and won the main event. Good call, Jim Hawley.
There's old James Stewart now. We're getting a chance to look at him, and great to see the number 7 back. Vince Freeze, Andrew Short right there, kind of in tow. And you heard Kyle Chisholm talk about it, you know.
Kyle Chisholm, not Cal Cunningham.
Yeah, with James Stewart, you know, coming back, all the practicing you do, it's not like you're racing out here. So I'm sure he's tightening up a little bit. And we're getting a chance to see Eli.
Be a big win for Eli and Monster Energy Kawasaki.
You look at the 41, Trey Canard, both. We were back-to-back Atlantas here last year. He was third both times. So if you're wanting to pick a fantasy guy on the podium, I mean, Andrew Short, he had a great time in that first session. He was third fastest. He's had the podium before.
Marvin Muskin. You know, in our first 2 Rocky Mountain ATV MC fantasy segments, I haven't put him on my podium, but I forgot. I definitely forgot, and I think Marvin Muskin's on a good roll. I think his confidence level's up. He has strength back in his arm from his injury, and I think if he gets a good start, he's going to be calculated, he's going to ride well. I think he's going to be in there.
Yeah, and you got to remember that last year, him and Ryan Dungey both won here.
Yeah.
So, you know, he likes his soil too. See what happens, but
it's tough. It's going to be good. Round 8. Monster Energy Supercross, FIM World Championship. Hard to believe we're already at round 8. Things are clicking off really quickly. You know, at the conclusion of next weekend, we'll be past the halfway point. And that man right there, 23-point lead, 4 wins, has yet to finish worse than second place.
Yeah, 4 wins, 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to start.
Yamaha dominating here in the 450 class with 11 wins. The last time Yamaha's won here in 2009 with James Stewart. Honda's got 10 wins. The last time Honda won here in 2008, Millsaps.
Yep.
And then Reed on a Kawasaki won here. They got 8 wins. And then you look at Suzuki with 6 wins. Last win with Stewart was 2013, and then 3 wins for KTM. Ryan Dungey winning the last one here.
As we're watching Trey continue to circulate the track, he is currently at the top of the leaderboard, 45-6.
Yeah, something interesting that also that riders to win both classes here. Damon Bradshaw, Ricky Carmichael, Dungey, Reed, and Stewart. Dungey, Reed, and Stewart They like this track also.
Can't count out Trey Canard. He's been hungry, hurt that hand, and took a week off. But he's hungry. Trey always comes back. I think he's one of the more exceptional rut riders. All he needs is a start.
Well, and you look at that face of the jump, you got a chance to see Trey. He was going to the far left-hand side, staying out of the deep ruts. You got to remember that as you're riding, those ruts are going to get deeper and deeper, and you want to try to find different lines, as Ryan Dungey's finding some different lines right now. See if he can jump up.
I'm watching Dungey over my shoulder here as you're seeing Ken Roczen in frame right now.
You see Cole Seeley riding off to the side there? He just was off to the side where Kenny Roczen was. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Now he's entering back in. It looks like
right.
he was trying to get in behind Kenny and get a good clean track. See another yellow flag. That's Phil Nicoletti down in that right-hander there. He's okay. Kenny Roczen
I think the guys
now.
are, Jim, I think the guys are really wanting to, tune on their machines. This is the closest it's going to be to the main event for these guys. And, the track's been changing all day long. It's getting a little bit harder in some places. Some of the ruts are getting deeper. But Dungey just finished up a heater. Let's see if he jumps up there. He was in 4th place. He jumps up to
third.
Yeah, 3rd place. So with 3 minutes to go, Trey Canard, Ken Roczen, Ryan Dungey, Justin Brayton, Marvin Muskin is your top 5. Going through the top 10, 6th place is Cole Seeley, 7th place Chad Reed, Eli Tomac 8th, James Stewart 9th.
Well,
and they're shaking up a bunch now. Christophe Porcel jumps up into the runner-up spot here in 450 Group A qualifying number 2.
Well, it's about time, Christophe. It's 2:31 or 2:51 left.
For 377.
Yeah, 377 out there putting his mark in. But if you look at it, a 45.6 for Trey Canard. The fastest in that was a 45.7 from Dungey. So they're just a little bit faster in this final qualifying session here in Atlanta. There's Marvin. Brayton now.
Throwing that tear off away.
You can tell when they're getting ready to do a hot lap. That
get a clear vision and drop the hammer.
Yeah, and they shake their hand. Okay, here we go. Brayton now, let's see where he's at. He's Justin Brayton.
6th place.
6th place, not bad.
Once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Race Day Live. I want to thank all of our international guests. Thank you so much for watching with us. We're round 8. It's the onset of the 250 Eastern Divisional Championship. We have a huge crowd watching practice and qualifying right now, and tonight this place is going to be bursting at the seams. Won't quite be a sellout. Who knows? Maybe it will be at the end of the night. But we're going to have, do you see the corner there, Jim Holly?
He's on a heater. I mean, he just went in there and broke and just grabbed a handful and just sailed right around. Let's see. All of them. You're watching them. For you guys watching this, you want to learn how to ride fast, just watch Ryan Dungey.
1.
Let's see if he can bump up, and he's sitting right now in 7th with a 45.9. Let's see what that next. Wow. All that fast 45.7 bumps him up to 5th.
Cole Seeley jumps up to 2nd place.
It's close, Andy. Listen to this. A 45.6, a 45.6, a 45.6, a 45.7, a 45.7, a 45.7.
All the way to 7th place.
A 45.8.
7 guys within a half a second.
I got goosebumps, Andy.
I do too.
I think it's going to be a good race tonight.
I'm telling you, the Battle of Atlanta is going to show up. We have all the ingredients for it. This is one of the deepest fields we've seen. James Stewart's back. Ken Roczen's riding well. Trey Canard's on top of this thing, followed by his teammate Cole Seeley. You can just kind of get a sense for when you're going to have an outstanding main event. And I think we're going to have 2 of them. The 250 East is going to burn, and the 450 guys, they're set for battle. Dungey keeps looking over his shoulder. He's riding hard, putting in good laps. 30 seconds to go. This is his last chance to put in a heater.
Yeah, but that's what we talked about earlier. This track here, you ride harder. Sometimes it doesn't equal out to be a faster lap time. And I think that's where Dungey's at right now. Hopefully that doesn't, frustrate him a little bit. Like, hey, I'm trying everything I can to get the fast lap time. There's Chad Reed. Sitting down in 8th right now, Chad Reed with a 56 or a 46.2.
Christophe Porcel jumps up to the top with a 45.2.
Hey, we talked about it. Christophe Porcel, as Chad Reed's riding off. Christophe Porcel finished 8th last weekend. First time he jumped up into the top 10. And he told, you know, a few of us, hey, wait till we get to that East Coast round. I get a few races under my belt. And I wouldn't be surprised if Christophe Pourcel maybe finishes up in 5th, 6th tonight.
Yeah, good. I'm with you.
Wow. 45-2. And now Dungey jumps up to second of 45-4. So Dungey's okay. Now Ken Roczen of 45-4. Trey Canard of 45-6. And then Seeley of 45-6. I don't know about my boy Jason Anderson.
But up at the top, Jim Hawley.
12.
And Christophe Pourcel does it again. Unbelievable, you know. It's absolutely believable. I can't say unbelievable. You know, it's happening. Every weekend, week in, week out, number 377 says, I'm going to be the fastest guy in the world on this lap, and he does it. So,
and I think that this track here, you know, you got to remember he's a champion on that East Coast on the 250 class. So he likes this softer soil, and I think that the whoops aren't really as big as we've seen in Anaheim, and he's just kind of starting to get into his groove right now. So Christophe Pourcel.
We'll go through the top 5 one last time. Christophe Pourcel, Ryan Dungey, Ken Roczen, Trey Canard, Cole Seeley. That's the top 5, and that's going to do it for qualifying here on Race Day Live. But you know what that means. Fantasy time. Rocky Mountain ATV MC Fantasy segment number 3. I think I'm going to just go ahead and stay with my gut. I think Roczen's on a roll, you know. Him and Dungey, you know, are second and third in qualifying. I think Kenny Roczen's going to win again. I think it comes down to grit and determination. It comes down to starts. I think he's figured out his starts. Second place, Ryan Dungey, which, you know, it's tough between those two. And third place, Anderson. I'm going to replace Anderson with Marvin Muskin. So Roczen, Dungey, Marvin Muskin, and my wild card, I'm going to throw in Andrew Short. What do you got?
All right. I think I'm still gonna stay with Jason Anderson. I don't know. I just got a feeling, even though he crashed and everything, I like that. I think that fires him up. He just, you know, comes out in those main events. And
there's our top picks.
Yeah. So you got Dungey up there, and then Roczen, Anderson, and Tomac in 4th, and Seeley in 5th. That's good. Will Hahn into that 13th. I think
Will's gonna do better than that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think I might put maybe Alessi there. Maybe Michael Alessi in that 13th. And then, like I said, I'm going to still stick with 21, 94, and then 1. I just think Dungey might not get a good start, and we're going to watch him come through the pack and end up getting a podium in his first third of the year. Everything else has been first and second.
Right. Remember to go to rmfantasysx.com. And, hey, it's almost showtime here in a couple hours, 7 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. Hey, we have a remaining schedule coming up here. Next weekend, we're going to go to Daytona. You know, and after that, on March 12th, going to the Rogers Center. March 19th, Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan. And we return to California April 2nd, where I believe Miss Myra-Tina Harrow is going to come back and join us.
Yep, Levi Stadium there in Santa Clara. After that, we're going to go back to the Midwest there in Indianapolis to the Lucas Oil Stadium there, and then the Edwards Jones Dome in St. Louis, Missouri. And that'll also take us over to April 23rd. That'll be Foxborough. And you got to remember that the Edwards Jones Dome, that's a day race, as well as Gillette Stadium there. Yeah. And then you got MetLife, East Rutherford, New Jersey. And then the East-West Shootout, the grand finale, everything. Don't forget the Amsoil Arena Cross on May 6th there. And it's going to finish up in Las Vegas on May 7th. So good time in Vegas if you're a motorcycle fan.
Hard to believe we're almost halfway. You know, next week we'll be halfway through the championship, and the 23-point lead for Dungey, but we haven't had tonight's race yet. The Battle of Atlanta's coming your way. It's the onset of the 250 East Coast. That's going to be on fire. We're going to do something very, very special at intermission tonight. The NASCAR Hole Shot Challenge presented by Oakley. Greg Briffle, Ricky Stenhouse, Ty Dillon, Clint Boyer are going to be on 250F machines, and they're going to do a legit hole shot. Never happened before, so we're really excited about it, so make sure and tune in for that. But we want to thank you for watching Race Day Live. Thank you all your international viewers. Remember to ask RDO the questions. Thank you all of our sponsors. On behalf of Jim Hawley, I'm Andy Boyer.
Well, and also we can't forget our staff here. We got Steve and we got Anthony.
We couldn't do it without them.
We got Ife and Teresa and our camera editor guy,
David Arnold,
battling a cold, you know. Right. Ife was helping him out last week, giving him some emergency and some vitamins. I think she even gave him a B12 shot.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.